Hello, everybody. My
Good
name's Matthew
evening.
Wood,
And I'm Nick Fentiman.
and welcome to Shaken Not Stirred. This is our live stream today. So, looking forward to announcing
You'll be forgiven a judgment. No, not the first time I've fallen for a spy. Do you expect me to talk or do you expect me to die? It's like you're looking in the mirror and changing direction. Do you feel the connection between you and I?
Hello, everybody. So we are back. Evening, Vinny. How's things going? Hope you're well.
Good evening, all.
Yeah, that's fine. No problems. So basically, what we're doing, we're just talking about our event, Operation Trinity, because it's less than a month away now. We've got 3 weeks away. Is that right, Nick?
Yeah, it's coming up fast, but yeah, 3 weeks this Friday, I believe.
Yeah, it's going really quickly. So we've got a few updates. There are loads of different things happening about this event. There's new guests that we're going to announce tonight. There are some extra things that are going to happen. We do want to keep some things a surprise, but I think it's best if we, announce a few things. Ticket sales are going to end on the 15th, Monday, the 15th of October. So you've got pretty much 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks to get. And there's only about less than 10 tickets remaining. So you want to get on there. But what we're going to do is we are going to just add a few more friends in first, because we've got 2 people joining us today from the Bond community, 2 really cool people. Chris Wright and Dutch Bond fan. The amazing gentlemen who sum up the best of what this community of Bond fans has to offer. And I'm sure no one can disagree with that. And there they are. Hello, gents. How are you doing?
Hello. I do like how we're referred to amazing gentlemen, Jeroen. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good sum up for us. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking Amazing Spider-Man at first, but I had to change it because it's not Marvel. So there we go.
Matt, Rob. I just have to say, your gun barrel at the start is absolutely solid. I was trying to work out, is it more Tim or is it more Pierce? I think it's slightly leaning towards a Pierce, but it's a rock solid gun barrel.
Very I think impressive. he used that for a fan movie he made in
That's
years
right,
ago,
he
right?
did, yes.
He told me. Yeah.
Very nice.
I still haven't released that, so yeah, that was about God. I forgot about that. That was about how long ago?
10
years ago now. I've still got the footage. I've got
that has to be part of the event, surely. Like that's basically how we'd sell the last remaining 10 tickets. Is like your Bond film fan.
I think that was made during the time Brosnan was still Bond, probably in that time. So
no, he's not that long ago. But it was a long time ago. I think it was 2009 when I started on it, and I don't know, it was just a fun thing to do. We just bored because when you're in your early 20s, just late teens, you're like, you got loads of time on your hands. It's like, what do we do? And it was that time between Quantum and Skyfall, I think it was, when there was no Bond films going on. So we thought, what should we do? Should we just make one? And so I wrote this screenplay for like an hour and a half Bond film, and didn't realize how hard it was to actually go and make this thing. And we had to change because the cars changed, because obviously I've got new cars and stuff. We had to reshoot scenes. But to be fair, there's a few scenes in there that are really good, actually. I must admit. There's a really cool scene where I do my own stunts, and I'm on this like pipe, and I'm crawling along this pipe and trying to dodge all the guards. That was the best part of the film. And it goes on for about 2 minutes. The rest is trash. But at least that bit's good. Yeah, one day,
we're not going to see any for a while. I don't think we're going to see one for a few years, so I reckon get you one out. Has it got a name? What's the title, Matt?
Silence is Golden.
Ooh. Silence is Golden. Nice.
Very nice.
I remember you showed some clips back during the location tour.
Yeah, I've got a trailer. There's actually a trailer. There's actually maybe I can find it.
I remember you showed that at the time. That's
Is
how I
this
knew.
Is this part where you go into the woods as well?
Yeah. So yeah.
Mm.
So it was about. So this is the plot. This is the plot, and I wrote this in what 2009, 10, and I think they stole a bit for No Time to Die. Don't get me wrong. So basically, it was like this Russian general or something called Ivan Dragunov, very Russian name, and he basically owned this company called Forest Labs, and they were holding the world to ransom because they had created this virus that they were going to infect the water supply with.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's actually kind of close to Quantum's plot too, which was the newest, the latest at the time.
That's kind of the thing. And then there's a lot of twists where MI6 gets blown up, and pre-Skyfall this was as well, which is a bit eerie. And then kind of there's no MI6 because we had to explain where's the Aston Mine, where's all the gadgets, where's all that, and we was like, we can't do any of that stuff because we're just doing a cheap film here. So yeah. So that was the way of explaining how we had nothing basically, and that was it. The Bond had to borrow a car, and the car was a Ford Fiesta from the 90s. So we said that was Q's car, as a throwback, and it actually kind of worked because it was that time when he made The World Is Not Enough, so it's pretty good. So we had some fun bits in there, but for some reason I didn't film all of it, and there was a couple of scenes that I feel like it needed, but I might just string it together. Who knows if I got a bit of time? But yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I just noticed, fellas. So my camera's frozen, so I'm not quite sure if that's going to change or not. But if not, then never mind.
At least you gave us a nice smile when you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, Stefan, great to see
you.
Is it an external webcam, Chris? Because maybe it works to.
It's a laptop one. I could probably go and grab another laptop. But we'll see how things go.
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes. We can still hear you, which is good. And you've got a good picture there. Good job. It could have been a lot worse. So
at least you weren't caught mid-sneeze or something.
Yeah, exactly. So, where's everybody from tonight? Just to start with, where are we all from? We in the UK. I know Jeroen is in Holland, and Chris is. I don't know where Chris is. He's globetrotting a lot at the minute. So it's hard to keep
I'm back in the UK at the moment. I'm in Cardiff at the moment, but I'm flying off to Germany tomorrow with a load of Bond fans. Actually, we're doing it's called Operation Mein Auto, and we're going to it's going to do 3 days in Hamburg and 3 days in Berlin, covering Tomorrow Never Dies and Octopussy stuff going on. So yeah, really looking forward to that. Should be an epic week.
You're all over the place lately. I've seen you in Canada and Washington, and now you're to Germany. Nice.
I could tell you what job I do, but then I'd have to kill you. So
yeah, we're still waiting for the announcement, Chris. It looks like it's going to happen with you traveling around.
Well, when it is, you'll be the first to know. That's all I'll say.
There we go. He's doing all the promo work. That's what it is. Flying to all these places. Oh, good. Yeah, so Vinny says that sounds like a lot of fun. Bond-related things always the best. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely. Hi, Trevor. Oh, how's it going? So basically, what we're going to do, we're going to go talk through a few things and just have a bit of fun together. First of all, though, what's everyone else drinking? I know Nick's got something. What have you got, Nick? A Pilsner?
It's a Brooklyn Pilsner in a Dr. No 007 glass.
Oh,
very nice.
Look at that. Jeremy, what are you drinking?
Some obscure craft beer from.
Very nice.
Yeah, I know, Nick. I know you're fond of that as well. I'm actually. I don't know what kind of this is, but it's some sort of IPA. But I've been really into craft beer. I know you are as well. So that's a second passion.
Excellent.
Yeah, well, I've just got this because I didn't have time to find the glass.
Oh,
so
nice.
There you go. Bud. Yeah, just a bit refreshing. It's been a hectic day. So, but yeah, no, we've got lots of things to get through tonight because obviously Operation Trinity, we've been, blimey, how long have we been working on this, Nick? Since last year, pretty much.
Well, I would say pretty much after the last one finished, starting off with all the feedback we got from the event. We were quite overwhelmed, weren't we, with the kind remarks and everything that went with that, especially with people saying what went well and a few things that we could improve on, which we have done, especially with what we've arranged with the hotel this time.
Yes, definitely. So we've got a lot more, few things planned this time round. I mean, we've been very thorough. We looked at what we did last year. I thought last year worked very well. What do you think, Jeroen? Because you was here last year.
Well, I thought it was probably one of the best things I've done all that year. You know, for me, it was a highlight to 2022. You know, the 60-year anniversary, of course, it was last year. I really wish I could make it this year. I mean, but I'm here to perfectly help you guys promote this. I wish I could make it, but it was kind of tough to explain to lyrics. Oh, someone is giving me a little bit. There's some feedback here from someone. Was it me or?
Very strange.
I think it's the sound from Dr. No.
Yeah. It's Norman. Norman is already pushing the.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say it was kind of tough to explain to lyrics that hey, we're flying to the UK twice in a month, and we're gonna spend thousands of euros, but we're gonna see John Glenn, and it's so it was kind of tough to do two things. But at least we'll be in London next week to see Cue the Music, and all that stuff as well.
Yeah, that'll
but
be fun.
yeah, no, it was absolutely amazing last year. So I'm super happy for you guys that you're going to be at Pinewood again, the hotel.
Yeah. I mean, we looked at other venues, didn't we, Nick? Because we looked at we were trying to think if we were saying different, go somewhere different. But it just makes sense to go back there because we know it works there. That was a big key. We've done it before. We know what to expect. We know.
I was also going to add, Matt, that of the few hotels that we managed to try and negotiate with, not everything would have worked in terms of space. Cost as well, which is a big factor. As we know, we want to try and keep the cost down as low as possible. But also, Pinewood seems to be the only one, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, that actually offered us till 1 a.m. in the morning. Because
nice.
Other hotels are keen on 11:30 finish, weren't they? I think.
Yeah, and we want this to be a whole day thing, so it's going to be basically from 10 in the morning all the way to like midnight or 1 o'clock, and there's so much happening in that one short space of time, and we try to make things go from one to the other quite smoothly, so there's a couple of breaks in between, obviously, if you go and get yourself a drink, something to eat and all the rest of it, but yeah, we just like to keep things flowing, and it just keeps on coming, and it's like a never-ending night. Because the worst thing about these things is when they come to an end, it's like, wow, you just want to stay a little bit more or spend a bit more time.
Yeah.
And this way, it's the longest we could have the whole thing going on for, because any longer would be overkill. But yeah, it's going to be an amazing day. And the stuff we have, I mean, the team we've got together this year, because it was me and Nick last year with a couple of others in support, which we were very grateful for. This year, though, we've had to formate a team because there's just so much work involved. And we just don't have the time to do it.
Right.
So Chris is involved. Chris Wright, who's having issues with Spectre in a minute. He's involved with it. He's advising us with the event with some things, and X-Ray Stu doing some fantastic graphics.
Yeah.
He's back. He seems to be back. You right, Chris?
He's back. Looks like the cam is working.
Here
again.
we go.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts.
Fantastic. Yeah, we'll put a timer on it.
And we've also
Chris,
got.
Yep.
I was going to say we've also got a video guy and someone taking photos for us this time.
Yes.
Because we found last year that we didn't quite get everything we wanted to. I don't think.
Yeah, it's very hard because when you're running an event, to try and video it yourself, to try to capture everything, it's just impossible because you've got so many things to do. So we're very grateful for you, Jeroen, who actually did a little vlog, and that was really nice to look back on after the event because some of the things that you filmed we didn't see, so it's actually pretty cool to see that. Yeah. But yeah, no, we've got a really good team. Obviously, I was just saying, Chris, you were involved this year, advising us and giving us a few hints and tips and throwing your 2 pennies worth, and I think that's what it's about, just getting Bond fans together and creating like a really good event. That's what we're doing it for.
So do you know what the total number capacity in terms of the number of Bond fans that are going to be there?
There's gonna be loads. I mean, we're definitely over 50. We like to keep things intimate, so we don't like to have more than, say, I don't know, 100 people in a room because it's just too crowded. We like the people to be comfortable, so we limit about 80. So we've got over, I think, 69 to 70 sold. I think, was it? No, less than 10 tickets available. So there's only about 8 tickets left, 9 tickets left probably. So yeah, it's gonna be jam packed with Bond fans, but it's good because you're gonna have a Bond guest on each table, so you're going to instantly interact with people. And if you're lucky enough to get a room at the Pinewood Hotel, that's where the guests are staying as well. And it's pretty, yeah, we find it's the best way. As Vinny said, it's quite good to be intimate events.
Yeah, I mean that to me from last year was so mind blowing because you're at some point you're having dinner with all these guests, and it's kind of surreal to be dining with like people that worked on the Bond films. I mean, in this event, you could basically be dining with John Glenn, I guess. You could be sitting next to him. And
yes, indeed.
I remember I was seated next to the two editors, Vernon and John Glover, and they had lots of stories as well. And you get these tidbits that you would never hear on a documentary. Like those two would talk about, Quantum of Solace should have never been made. They were under the impression that the editing was terrible, and you're hearing it firsthand from like real editors that worked on the older Bond films. So that's just incredible. You don't get that from a documentary or something. It's so real.
Yeah, you're right. They're very honest. Very honest.
That's good. In terms of the itinerary, then, Matt and Nick, what have you guys kind of changed from last time, or is it going to be pretty similar to the setup from last year?
It's going to be a similar setup, but we haven't got. So we've got two guest speakers. We've got obviously John Alty, which is actually behind the stunts. There he is.
Nice.
There he is. Just on cue.
Yeah, good timing. Good timing. Obviously, we've got Llewellyn Chapman as well. Chapman, who wrote of the From Russia with Love book and a few other books she's got out. She's going to do a talk on From Russia, just talk about the 60th anniversary and what she found out about the film and bits and pieces. So it's just trying to get, different perspectives and different people in, and just one of these like dream Bond events. What do you want from a Bond event? You want to get people from the films. You want to hear their stories. You want to take pictures with maybe get an autograph. And then the casino just elevates it to another level because you're playing cards. You're doing blackjack with Norman Wanstall or John Glenn or John Grover
or craps even with Norman as well.
I heard he was pretty good at everything last time.
Man,
he was very yes.
Yeah, I remember because when you mentioned that vlog before, he just whatever he called, he would say, I'm now going to throw a 7, and I would start filming knowing, he's going to throw a 7 now, and I didn't even have to do multiple takes. I just did one take. Is he going to throw a 7? And then he did. It's like that's actually used in the vlog as well. He was so lucky. Like people would just follow him with the chips, and what a guy.
You know what? I've actually got a clip. I've got a clip here. Let's show it. Or is it don't pass? How many you can place chips anywhere you like. Anywhere. Yeah, I've got 3. The only thing you can't do at the moment is you can't don't pass because it's off. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is what your process. Put this on the hard way. As a table, it's good to get the hard way covered. Yeah. Okay. Because in one roll, you want at least someone to have a hard way in there. And if you do one of these, don't pass. We'll do one on a pass time. Okay. Here we go. We got to pass. Right, let's have a look see what we win. Okay, my first shooter, you picked 2. Yeah, so basically, Norman was hustling us all night. He pretended he didn't have a clue about craps, and I swear he did, because he was like coming out, was like, "What do I do here?" And I was like, everybody was just copying what he was doing. He seemed to be working. So, yeah.
And also, Matt, can I just have a Norman? What a starter for staying practically the whole night, did he? I think right to the end.
Oh yeah, he took part in the quiz as well. We actually sat there for the quiz. He was there all night, and I must admit, I mean, all the Bond guests are great. Don't get me wrong, but for someone in their late 80s to stay up literally from the morning to the evening to have drinks with us, to just it was amazing. Some of the stories he was telling was just simply incredible. So we were really grateful for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's what it's all about. I mean, the casino is it's going to be really fun. Now, the good thing is everyone gets like $100 or in chips or whatever. So
that's
everyone
kind of
gets that for
matches.
free. Yeah, sweet. No worries. And then don't worry, you'll soon lose it. I did. I was cleaned out within like 3 goes.
Me too.
Surprising now, it
Me
doesn't
too.
go far. It does not go far. So this time, what we're going to do, we've made an arrangement with the casino, which is actually pretty cool. So obviously we can't do gambling or anything like that because obviously we need a license for that sort of thing. But to make it a bit more fun, kind of if you do a couple of bad moves, you're out the game, which is a bit rubbish because it goes on for 2 hours. So potentially you could just be sitting there for 2 hours. So what we've decided this year with the casino is you get $100. The time you run out of money, which is fine, you can make a small donation to our charity with our card reader, and then you can get another $100.
It's a bit like Casino Royale. You buy back in when you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it gives you the option to keep on playing, but also it goes to charity. So it's just the best solution for everybody, and what a fun way of doing it. And there's prizes as well. So the winner last year got a bottle of Bollinger.
Yeah.
Was that Norman as well? Did he get everything?
It wasn't. It was actually David Lowbridge Ellis who won that.
Yeah.
He
won
I remember.
I got it on video.
So we have
the charity. I'm sorry.
Yep. Sorry.
No, I was going to ask: is it known what the charity is this year? I remember last year it was actually a Chris's charity that we were all playing for. What are you guys doing this year? Yeah, that was great.
Well, we've actually got a charity, and we will speak about that a little bit later because I've got some graphics and all that, and it'd be easier if I just show that and talk about it. But we've got a really good foundation that we're working with, Mark Milson Foundation, and it really fits in with the Bond community and the ethos of it because basically Mark Milson was a camera operator. And he actually worked on Quantum of Solace. So he's actually worked on the Bond film. He worked on loads of other Bond films. And he tragically got killed in a stunt that went wrong back in 2018, I think. So they set up this foundation to make film sets safe, to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And it's, he worked on Bond. The connection's already there. And we're all film fans. There's nothing worse than hearing the tragic stories. I mean, what happened on the film Rust, on the set of Rust and things like that, that could all be avoided. And in this day and age as well, when health and safety is what it is, it should be, you should be able to go to work safely and all the rest of it. So, it just seemed to go work. And we've got the backing of the board of the Mark Milson Foundation and obviously Mark's wife, Andrew, which is been very supportive and very grateful. And we'll talk about that a bit more later because I've got some graphics and all that, and I can show you, Mark and pictures and things like that. So, so we're doing it for that. We've got a roulette table. I'm waiting for a prize on that. I've got a prize in mind because it was the socks last year. Might try and get something else this year, or we might just go for the 60th anniversary socks, and we just donate that in, and everyone pays I think £5 or something like that. Picks a number, and then halfway through the night, we'll spin the wheel. Whatever number it lands on, if that's your number, you win the prize. And it's a bit of fun. So the
roulette was so much fun last year.
What did you win last year, Jeroen?
Nothing. Oh, except the quiz. We did win the quiz night actually.
Yes.
Yeah, no, but it was a lot of fun. But unfortunately I wasn't as lucky as Norman was.
Yeah, he was something else. Right. So what we're going to do, lads, we are going to add in the PowerPoint. And we are going to talk about our guests. So, first one, John Glenn, director of 5 Bond films and obviously editor of, Moonraker and Honor Majesties.
Incredible.
I mean, what a guest to have. We're very. He's done lots of events this year, so he's getting pretty tired. And he did say we've only got him for I think a few hours, so he's agreed to an autograph signing with us. So you can get your autographs, your pictures, your selfies, and whatnot. Then we've got a Q&A with him, and there's been loads of Q&As with John, absolutely loads. And we're thinking, how can we make it different? And we've got something up our sleeves that's going to turn this Q&A on its head. It's going to be really fun. So we're not going to reveal what that is, but me and Nick have been chatting about it, and there's an idea that I think would really work. It's going to be, if it really does work, it'll be cool. So, it'll work anyway. You know what I mean?
I think this is Matt. I think this is his fifth event this year.
Yeah,
in one shape or form.
Have you guys met him in real life already, or is this your first time as well?
I have
back in 2018. Yeah,
I met him last year at the Bond Stars event. Yeah,
really nice chap as well, isn't he?
Have you met him as well, Chris? Or
yeah, I've met him a couple of times, and Tom and I were fortunate enough to interview him a few years back.
Right. Yeah, of course you were.
But he's such a lovely guy, and like the only director, if you think about it, the only director that's done 5 Bond films, that's a pretty incredible thing to have on your resume, isn't it?
And
like,
absolutely, yeah. I think to work with all them different Bonds as well, you know, Roger, Tim, and he probably did the screen test for Pierce as well. So potentially 3 Bonds he's worked with, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, all the 80s Bond films. It's just that was on our list of guests when we announced we were going to do an event. It was going to be around Octopussy, the anniversaries, Live and Let Die, From Russia with Love. We know Octopussy has a lot more guests knocking around than say From Russia or Live and Let Die because of the age of the films, you know. But to get John, that was on the top of our list, and we're just glad that he's agreed to attend. And it's going to be a lot.
If it was just him, I would still, probably make. If I could make it, I mean, that alone should be a huge selling point. I mean, it's not someone small. I mean, this is huge.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, we've got that. We've got obviously John Glenn coming in. Obviously, Chris is having trouble, so he does apologise. It's just the camera. This Spectre's playing around. It happens. Always the way. But yeah, as Stefan says, he directed and guided Bond through the 80s. And you know what? That was a tough period, I think, with all the action films coming out, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard.
Yeah.
It was a very tricky era to get Bond where it was. And, he did a great job with that. And I think out of all the films, I go back to the 80s films quite often on a rainy Sunday afternoon, and you're just going to be entertained.
Chris is back. Oh, there he comes. Yeah. He just messaged in the private.
Again,
yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
There's some definite Spectre shenanigans going on with
it's what Matt said off camera as well when you were gone. But no, I was going to say, John, actually, because License to Kill is probably my favorite Bond film. At least I wouldn't call it the best one, but the one I just enjoy watching the most. And, he's the director of that as well. So I really wish I could make it just to talk with him a little bit about that as well. So,
Joe, fortunate. Yeah. Joe, I was going to say, that's interesting. You've, your favorite one is License. Mine is For Your Eyes Only.
Oh, yeah.
But obviously it's not one of the best in my opinion. However, everyone's got their choices and so on and so forth, but that's the one I saw at the cinema, the first one I saw in
1981.
81, yeah. Thank you for that. I need to 82. But yeah, was License to Kill your first one at the cinema?
Sorry?
Was License to Kill your first one to see at the cinema?
That old. I wasn't born yet.
Definitely not.
I was born a year after License to Kill. So I'm from 1990. So
that would have been a magic trick.
Yeah. No, I was a lot later. I'm 33 now.
There you go. Chris, what's your favourite film? As we're talking about favourite films.
Out of John Glenn's, the 2 that stand out for me are Octopussy and Living Daylights. I'm huge fans of both of those. I think the Living Daylights is really underrated, particularly the first half of it. It's almost perfection, I find. I think there's so many amazing scenes in it. And Octopussy, it gets a lot of stick, but I love it. It's just one of those films that it's a really good adventure. Like there's some good humor, good action, and everyone's kind of got those 1 or 2 films that you love and you're interested in, but it might not appeal to everyone. But it doesn't matter because there's there's a Bond for everyone. So yeah, but I think John Glenn did. I mean, all 5 are crackers, really. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But okay, right. We're going to move on now. We're going to have a look at our next guest. Obviously, Norman. Norman's coming back.
Hey.
And this was a definite yes, because obviously Norman worked on From Russia with Love. So to have someone who worked on From Russia with Love is quite rare nowadays, considering how old the film is, 60 years old. So to get him down again, and he's at 88, 89, I believe he is.
Yeah.
So yeah, what a story. I mean, the story he says about when he said it at the event, and he said, "Oh, I remember there was no recorders available." Someone asked about the crushing sound. When Oddjob's the car, gets crushed. Who was in the car? What's his name? What character got crushed?
Solo.
Yeah.
Solo. Yeah, he gets crushed. And Norman's come up with that sound. What he did, there was no sound recorder. He said, "Oh, I found a really good sound. I need a recorder." There was only a toy recorder, so he literally captured that with a toy, and they put it in the film. You would never have known that.
And he won an Oscar with it too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's incredible. I've got another. I'm sorry. I think I'm interrupting your.
No, go for it. Okay. Go for it.
Another great anecdote with Norman last year. We were kind of talking about this off camera, but he kept mistaking me for Chris last year. Because Chris, you went up to his house at some point.
Tom and I interviewed him. God, it must have been one of the first sort of interview Bond alumni that we did. So we're probably talking, a long time ago now. But we went up to his house and sat in his conservatory out back, and just such a warm man, so friendly, very, very humble as well. Oscar winner, for goodness sake. But no, he has no, he's just so down to earth. And the fact that he's climbing mountains and hiking and doing all this sort of stuff, he's basically someone that if I'm lucky enough to reach his age, I'd absolutely adore to be like Norman wants to, in terms of how he lives his life.
Absolutely.
What a legend.
Because he was, I was gonna walk up to him on the Friday because he was also present at your Dr. No screening that you did at last.
That's right, he was, yes.
So as I walk up to him, I'm like, getting my guts to first shake my hands with an Oscar winner, and he's like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Huh?" And he went like, "Oh, you went to my house last year. How are you doing?" I'm like, "No, this is the first time I'm meeting you." No, James Bond Radio, right? I know you. And I was like, "No, I'm not from James Bond Radio. You're confusing me for either Tom or Chris. But my name is Jeroen. I'm from the Netherlands." And then the next day, during the casino night, we were playing the craps, and I actually bought him a drink. And then he went like, "Are you sure you didn't went to my house last year?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to show you a picture of the guys from James Bond Radio, because I was thinking maybe he was mistaking me for Tom because of the darker hair. And obviously I don't have the biceps that Chris has. So, but I showed him a picture, and he was like, "Oh, no, I'm mistaking him from him." And then he pointed to Chris. So it's going to be fun, because now you're going to be seeing him this year. I wish we were there together.
Well, he's going to be saying, "Oh, Jeroen, how are you, Jeroen?" I'll be like, "No, it's not. I'm not Dutch Bond fan, honestly."
Yeah. The first thing you do, Chris, I'm Dutch Bond fan. He's just great. But no, I mean, last year we obviously, for some of you that probably don't know, part of the event last year was screening Doctor No at Pinewood Studios. That was a big deal for the 60th anniversary, and it blew a massive hole in our budget because it's so much money to hire that place out, and they're very particular about everything. So we thought, as a 60th anniversary, it was one-off, but to sit next to Norman, to watch Doctor No with the guy that works on the sound, and seeing him sort of looking at the film and reacting to it, and that was pretty cool. You could just probably watch him just sitting there watching the film, and his little reactions and the what he laughs at and what he remembers little different stories. That was just so surreal.
Once in a lifetime. I mean, that kind of stuff. It's
yeah. And I mean, hopefully it will happen again, but who knows? And also, Stefan says, "For your eyes only, licensed skill by John Glenn were a return to films that genuinely Fleming-esque after the fun but flippancy of double taking pigeons replaced by serious startled pigeon action." Yeah, it's true.
Very true.
There's a lot of pigeons there flying about. Yeah, it must be saying about pigeons. Who knows? Maybe we'll ask him on the day, what's with the pigeons. We'll see what happens. But
he did a lot of
he was really
animal
good.
scares, John Glenn. I mean, in his films. Like there's the monkey as well in the
lion.
Daylights.
Yeah,
the lion. Yeah.
Sorry, the tiger. Sorry, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's a
well,
signature.
maybe so maybe London Zoo just sponsored Eon and they have to use the animals. Who knows?
However, thankfully we don't have any animals that's ours, or certainly not.
Yeah.
Four-legged ones. There may be some pigeons there on the roof, but definitely not the four-legged ones.
Yeah, exactly. Right, okay, so we're going to move on to our next guest. Paul Weston, legendary stuntman. This guy's worked on loads of films. I think from The Spy Who Loved Me onwards.
Fantastic guy.
Doubled Roger, doubled Richard Kill, huge rich Bond history right there. And he's such a nice guy. Those have met him.
And I recently played golf with him.
Oh, did you?
That's right.
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
And are we allowed to ask who won, or were you playing as a team?
No, we well in our it was a team event, so we all contributed to our final score. But I think overall we came 4th out of 17.
Nice, very good.
So yeah, we're only about 7 shots behind, or 7 points behind.
Korean sort of Korean guys dropping golf balls out the trousers on the green.
No, not at all. No, but I'll tell you what, Chris, there was actually a couple of bunker shots which Paul played, which were absolutely superb. And one of the stances he had, unfortunately, I never got the video for this of him. I took a couple of videos of him taking a few shots, but this particular bunker shot, he was kind of stood halfway up the upslope of a bunker with 1 foot outside on the rough and 1 foot inside. And he must have been about 90 yards from the pin, and he actually nailed it on the green. I mean, he stood his ground in the bunker because it was an uphill shot, and normally you can lose your balance if you're not that well sure-footed, so to speak. So yeah, that was an incredible shot. And then there was another one further along where he managed to. Well, he was quite below the green. It was about 10 foot, 15 foot elevation, and he knocked that one to within a foot. So that was a nice 4-pointer from him. So yes, I was also going to add actually some great stories from him, and just one story leads on to another. You know, you can just be talking about absolutely nothing. All of a sudden, he came out with something about our Wiedersehen pet, and then onto an American Werewolf from London. So he's got some great stories that can just merge from one to another seamlessly, and from one genre of film to another. So he could go from spy onto whatever, within a few minutes. So yes, a great guest, and very, very lucky to have him on board with us.
Yeah, another proper nice guy as well, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. He is very, very much so. Oh yes, yeah. Mm.
There tends to be the way, doesn't it? Sorry, Matt. And in terms of the Bond sort of alumni that all of us have kind of met or interviewed or whatever, everyone seems to be really decent. You know, it's you do hear these horror stories about people going to meet their heroes or speaking to people that have worked on films they love, and they're just left a bit cold. But I think the majority of people that have worked on Bond have just really, really
down to earth, he was going to say, and I agree with him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's one of those, and I think most of them are the old kind of old school crew and all the rest of it who were from the 80s, back behind. They're a different kind of era, they're like a family. When they come to the event, it's like a
It is, Matt, and I was going to say that they have a genuine passion for talking about what they've worked on as well.
Yeah,
he was indeed.
Hold on. Oh yeah, you're dead. Yeah,
guys, I might have told this to you already, but I've got to say, because it's just so funny, and it's a real shame it didn't happen. But me and Dan Gale, who's part of the JBR as well, we went to Paul's house and interviewed him. We were there for about 3 hours or something. Had a really great interview. Went to the pub afterwards and stuff, and we were talking about this scene. And I said to him, I had a really good idea where he was going to be walking along holding like bags of shopping with a bit of loaf of bread sticking out, and then I was basically one of my mates was going to be driving along in an estate car with like roof racks, and I was basically going to run along, nick the loaf of bread out of Paul Weston's shopping bag and jump onto the roof of the car, which then speeds off, and he's going to go, here, hold on, that's my bread. And we didn't have time to film it, and I was gutted because that would have been amazing. But maybe another time.
Maybe you have some time to do it during the Shaken Not Stirred weekend. You know?
I'm going to bring a loaf of bread just in case.
Yeah.
We have a big car park, so it's very possible.
Yeah,
we could
there is room for it, definitely. I can confirm.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
that is good. And Mark says the JBR interview with Paul is really good as well. To be fair, all your interviews
episode 130 it was.
Exactly, he knows the episode as well. That's pretty cool.
It's a proper fan of your podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul's staying over, so he's going to be at the casino. He's going to be literally there all night. So hopefully he stays for the quiz. We'll have to do a special stunt round. Who knows? That'll be pretty good. I know John Alty's going to do a really good Q&A with him. Obviously, he's been brought in to talk because he knows all about the stunts. There's no one that knows the stunts more than John, and he's really good. Obviously, with Paul, he'll just work his magic, and we'll hear all these stories that maybe we didn't even know about. So I'm looking forward to that. Right, man, let's move on. So already, John Glenn, number one stall, Paul Weston, the deadly duo from Octopussy, David and Tony Meyer.
Here we go.
Nice.
There we go. I mean, we just have to hide the cutlery, but other than that, I think we'll be fine.
Yes, we've already warned the staff at the hotel.
Yeah. But no, these will be great. And to have them there and John there and Paul, because they all worked on Octopussy. So to have them there talking about the films, it will may bring out even more stories and more memories. So yeah, this was a really good addition to our event, and we're really looking forward to meeting them. What do you think, Nick? Have you met them before?
I have actually, yes, at a For Band Fans Only event at the Morpeth Arms a few years ago before COVID. Very nice to speak to, as what Chris was just saying. Again, some, great stories from them to hear, and also outside of Bond to hear what they're up to and also what they have worked on and so on and so forth. So yes, and they'll be a great addition to our lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. And we might actually find the location of where they actually filmed, because we spent a long time looking, didn't we, guys?
Man, I remember that one last year. We were looking for trees all over.
Yeah, and there was a great picture with us three, with obviously Jeroen and David Lobigelis, and trying to find this. Whereabouts was it? And but it's silly things like that that make these things great. It's that it was just bugging us. It was like, right, we just have to try and look at pictures of a tree. Now you go to any. So say you're meeting up with friends and you're going to look at a tree. How weird does that sound?
I mean, it was one of the best memories of that weekend as well. I remember because my girlfriend, obviously, she can look at it from the outside, and she's like filming us. Like, so now we're just looking at a fence. We're really passionate about. This is
at the
Fort Knox.
The Fort Knox, yeah.
And she's, obviously not into the whole world, so she's just, all she sees is a fence and a tree, and it's raining as well, and we're just not bothered by it at all. That was fantastic.
Exactly.
But the fact that I was going to say that.
Oh, there's John.
I was going to say the fact that at the bottom of the fence, I was informed by another guy that worked who.
There she is.
has written Bond books and so on about the road that was built on top of the pathways in Black Park, and there was concrete fragments still around the perimeter of the fence. I think it was Dave Worrell that told me that. So whether or not they were the concrete fragments, if you're lucky enough to pick one up, you got a piece of history there.
Yeah. That's how passionate Bond.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
because other people that were just having a walk in the park, they just see this huge group studying fences and trees, and they're like, "What is so special about this?" Oh, it's incredible.
But yeah, I mean, like this person says, finding pieces of broken concrete that could have been bits of gold Fault Road was hilarious. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing about the event. You got their moments in, you got the sort of kind of informal chats, and then you got that. It's just what Bond fans are. We're just crazy. But on location hunting is always the best, and I agree with that. Right, so let's move on. Let's get Chris back in if he's there. Oh, he's there. He's
in. I think his
sorry. What I'm going to do is actually try and get on my phone. So but I am here to answer anything that you want me to.
Yeah, sure.
There we go. Right, no problem. Right, this is a new one. We hadn't announced this one, so we have actually got Anthony Way, legendary executive producer. And obviously, he worked as assistant director and all the rest of it, built his way up as line producer and then executive producer on the Pierce Brosnan Bond films. I think his last Bond film, correct me if I'm wrong, is Quantum of Solace, I believe. And he's worked since the 60s, not on Bond films, but he's done loads of other stuff like the Carry On films, Normal Wisdom films. He's worked with everybody and anybody in British film and history and all the rest of it. So, to have him on there, he's worked on the Brosnan films, the Roger Moore films, Daniel Craig films. The stories we're going to get from him are going to be pretty something special. Yeah.
About what age is he at right now? He must be in his 80s as well, maybe, or is he not?
Yeah, late 80s, yeah. And he doesn't appear at many of these things. I think the last time he appeared was CovCon back in, when was that, Nick? 21, 22?
Oh, was that last year?
Could have been last year. I can't even remember. It just feels like a lifetime ago now, but
I think it was last year.
Yeah, I think it was 2022. So, yeah, it was great meeting him there, and but to have him at an event and just talking about, all the films, I mean, that's a pretty good one. Have you met him before, Chris?
No. Briefly, he was at one of the Bond Stars events. I didn't. I think I went up to him and had a quick chat with him, but I haven't sort of heard, had a long, in-depth chat with him. But he's been on so many Bond films. Like the wealth of knowledge that man has is incredible. Yeah, that's right. It's Bond Stars 2019, just before
2019.
Yeah. He'll have some amazing stories to tell. Like anyone that's not seen him is in for like a real treat to hear from Tony Way.
Yeah. And also, he was assistant director on Star Wars: New Hope from '77.
Oh wow!
Well, that's pretty
cool. Wow!
And also, just to don't want to jump the gun here, but one of our other guests, Matt, will have been involved. One of the other guests, Matt will be put on the screen shortly. Somebody else that worked in Star Wars as a character in a costume. Can't remember the name she played, but we'll come to that when we come to her.
Yeah, it's coming up very soon. Actually, I'm not sure if it's next or the one after.
Okay,
have a look. John Grover, so expert editor of films. He's great. Obviously, you had dinner with him, so yeah.
Oh man, he was amazing as well. I remember because he made 2 pictures at your event. And I was on one of the pictures with him, so I felt very honored to be, on his camera roll for two of the pictures he made, for one of the 2. I mean, but yeah, no, these are the guys. I mean, it's so great that you have all these people that have been around for quite a while, that have quite a lot of stories, because they do, and they're similar to Norman. They're very humble about it. I remember at the dinner table, he and Vernon. They were both saying like, we've never really been recognized at the street, even though, we've done all of that. That's what you get when you're an editor, of course. But they did a lot of stuff. It's insane, and so amazing to have been able to have dinner with these guys. Yeah, no, I agree.
What was your best moment from last year then, Euron? Was it sitting on the table speaking to these guys?
Probably too much, but I think the casino night was a real highlight, wasn't it? That was I remember that night when I went to bed, and maybe in the morning. It sounds a bit strange, but I almost was caught in an emotional moment, kind of like putting it all together. Like, wow, last night I had, I was playing with an Oscar winner at a table, and I met all these friends that I've only known online, and it was all after the COVID years as well, where we couldn't really do that much. So to me, there wasn't just one moment; it was the whole experience, everything about it. I mean, seeing Dr. No at Pinewood in the 60-year anniversary, that almost being in the holy grounds, everything about it was incredible. But the casino night, that was when you truly got to have some beers and really relax for a bit and just talk with everyone you've known online, or just meet a lot of new people. Super surreal as well to do all that. That's so incredible.
Yeah, it was. It was just, summing up, it would be great. And that's what we're going to recreate again. It was that feeling that basically you've all gone on holiday together. You're on vacation,
yeah, exactly.
and you're all at the same place at the same time. And, it's like a family coming together, and it's that, little reunion that we have together. It's brilliant. Yeah, we're trying to create the atmosphere again, because that was one of the things that you mentioned, actually, Julian. I must give you credit for that, because you did mention it. And we thought, actually, yeah, you're right. It does have that kind of feel.
I mentioned it being like being on a school camp in the old days.
Because
you're all sleeping and spending at sleeping at the same place pretty much. And I remember my German friend that was there, Philip, who I've become close friends with. He said, "Yeah, you're right. It is like being at a school camp, but normally there's just this one guy that's into Bond." But now I'm in a school camp and everyone is
everyone.
That was a really good one, actually. Yeah. It's like,
it's Bond camp. That's what it is.
Bond camp.
Yeah.
As Vinny says, are you planning more events in the future? Well, you know what? We'd rather get this one out of the way first. But we are already thinking about next year, and we've actually got loads in the pipeline that we can't talk about. And it probably will be our biggest year, because next year, I don't know if anyone knows this, I don't know if Nick remembers this, but it's 5 years of Shaken Not Stirred next year. It's a big landmark.
Oh, it is, yes. It is in March, yes. Yeah.
In March. So there's a few things that we've got planned that we're not going to talk about just yet. So that's for next year. Maybe we'll do something in January, but we've got lots of more things. We're going back and we're doing, actually, we could, I don't know. We'll mention it when it gets sorted, because there's a really cool event that's going to happen next year. And we are going to do one of these again, probably. But there's something else we've been invited to do, which we're really excited about. So, yeah, can't really say much about it, but it's a really good opportunity. And, it'd be really cool to do an event there.
Incredible.
It seems much longer than
I must try to make it to the next one. Absolutely. I'll do my best. But your events, I mean, they deserve huge applause. I mean, they're incredible. And I really hope everyone that sees this, that hasn't bought a ticket and is considering it, you won't feel sorry if you buy one of the tickets for these guys. I mean, look at the guests, look at it's a real bang for your buck, so to speak. So man, it's incredible.
Yeah. Well, Chris is back again. Let's hope this is
I'm not going to be around for long. It's going to go again, but I am hearing everything though. So I'm just like the listeners. I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, I didn't get to go last year. I was really gutted, but after seeing the video, like Jeroen did an amazing video, and seeing like how much fun everyone was having, and obviously we mentioned the casino, but there's going to be quizzes. There's going to be Q&As. It's going to be obviously John from the stunts going to be chatting, and there's just so much going on. And obviously you haven't mentioned as well, there's a 3-course meal on the Saturday, and I can imagine just everyone sitting around having that would be amazing as well.
Well, yeah, and then well, actually, there's meetups about that as well. So it's before it was a 3-course meal with a set menu, but what we've done is we've kind of changed it. We're going to change it, and we haven't sort of announced it yet, but there's going to be more than just one thing on offer. So you can go and grab. There's about 3 different things on offer now. You can just go and grab it. And it's
4. There'll be 4 plus sides, I think.
Yeah. I think there's 4 main meals. That's 2 starters to choose from and 2 desserts. So you've got options this year. So that'll be pretty cool.
And you've got choices, Matt.
Nice. Did you also manage to at the Pinewood, the hotel itself, right? You said you made some new arrangements. Did you manage to get the bar staff to make actual vodka martinis this year as well.
Right. No, that's. Are we is this part of our presentation site, Matt, or are we just go on to that now?
You know what? It wasn't, but should we? Because we mentioned it anyway. Let's just mention it. Let's just get it out there. So basically, we've talked to the Pinewood Hotel because it was a missed opportunity last year. How can you have a Bond event with and shaken not stirred as well with no cocktails?
I mean, it's the name.
It just don't make sense. And I remember we went up to it. To be fair, that's kind of partly my fault because I didn't really think about it. There was so much going on, and Pinewood was like the Pinewood Studio cinema screening took up a lot of time. And then
but you would have
expected can I have a vodka martini. I was like, well, I don't know how to make it. It was just brilliant.
Did you reel it off? That's a perfect opportunity, Matt. You could have done it line for line. Like, you know, 3 parts this, 1 part
3
that.
parts,
I'm not going to do the whole thing.
3 parts gin. What was it?
3 parts Gordon's, 1 part vodka, half Pina Lily, shaken over ice, thin slice of lemon peel. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah,
exactly.
But what bar doesn't offer that though, really?
Yeah, but this year it's happening
anyway
because we have our own cocktail list.
Nice.
And we're going to the cocktails are named after characters from the films.
Great.
Which we will keep secret for now.
Which we'll keep secret for now. But Chris has come up with a really good one. I must admit, that was the best name. And it's just amazing. You'll love it when you see it.
Now I'm very curious. You must tell me off camera later.
Yeah.
We'll do some little videos of us sampling each one, Jeroen, and then by the end of the night, we'll be...
I'm really starting to get some fear of missing out now, hearing all of this. I mean...
Well, the good thing is, you don't need to worry, because we've got a professional videographer who's going to set up multiple cameras, and the whole thing is going to be filmed in, I'm not sure, very high quality, maybe 4K, maybe HD, whatever it is, but the whole thing's going to be filmed, and all the talks will be captured and released independently. So we're going to do one big, 20-minute video of the whole event, the whole day, and then there's going to be all the talks released as and when. So
brilliant.
Whoever can't make it, we're going to try to do as much as we can to video it. We've got a really good setup this year. So this is going to be great. Right, we're not even at the next guest yet, but here we go. This is a really rare guest. Eileen Roberts, Jane Seymour Standing from Live and Let Die. Now, this one is a very rare one because I don't think she's actually done a Bond event. Am I right, Nick, in saying that? I could be wrong.
Not that she told us about. My wife, Lena, and I met her at a kind of covert Star Wars signing earlier this year. Whilst the main Star Wars celebration was being held at the Excel Centre in London, Derek Lyons, one of our good friends, held something called Commando Signings at a pub, and he had about a dozen or so people that have been in various sort of acting forms in Star Wars films, and then we got talking to Eileen. Turns out she was Jane Seymour Standing for Live and Let Die, where she stood on the crane that was held over the shark pool with Roger.
That's very, very cool.
And I think she also mentioned she thinks she remembers possibly doubling for Britt Ekland in The Man with the Golden Gun, because I think she said she remembers wearing a blonde wig, but she says she's a bit sketchy about if that was that actually film or another one. So,
we'll just say it is. That's fine.
Yeah,
they'll believe her anyway.
So this is a great. Yeah. So this will be a kind of I won't say a one-off opportunity, but probably a rare one, as Matt was hinting at, because it's probably not that often she gets invited to Bond signings that we're aware of, anyway.
That's fantastic. Yeah, really looking forward to that.
Yeah. And the stories on the set are going to be different, and it's just another time.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get people that worked on the film. So obviously, a lot was filmed in the US. To fly people over is a tremendous amount of money that unfortunately we don't have, because we do all this for free. So we give up our time and resources, and whatever we get, what we make through ticket sales goes straight into the events or straight to the charities. So there's literally, we don't sit there with like a pot of gold or anything, which is a shame. But
no.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Exactly. Which is a shame, because how cool would that be? Just do our little Goldfinger Fort Knox scene or something,
Yeah.
Very pretty cool. Stefan says, ask Eileen why she wasn't standing for Jane when she was in the back of the bus in San Monique.
That's a very good question.
Yes.
It's a good question. It is. I like that.
Because that was, I guess, because that was shot on location in Jamaica, and probably Eileen was just in the UK for the Pinewood.
That's correct.
Right,
yes,
that
she was. Yes.
Yeah, to fly somebody over just to do a couple of seconds, that would be a lot of cost. Yeah, maybe that's why. Who knows? But we move on to Terry Madden. So we've got Terry Madden, legendary second unit director. He's worked on so many Bond films, all the way up to Spectre. I don't know which Bond film he started with. Maybe one of the 80s Bond films. I think perhaps For Your Eyes Only, I think. But he's worked on so many. Daniel Craig, Pierce Brosnan, Roger Moore.
Nice.
And we've met him before. He's a really down-to-earth guy. And he's actually given me because I'm a big fan of The World Is Not Enough. I really like film. It's just a fun film, and he gave us some really cool behind the scenes stories for the Wappings scene where Bond just splashes the traffic wardens, and it's just gold. Stories like that are just gold. You know what, I will tell it, why not? And it's not really published many places, I don't think so. So basically, the guys, the traffic wardens that were clamping the van, they were from like the TV show Clampers, and he was identified. He had like a goatee beard back in the 90s. There was that show, and when he turned up for filming, so they thought, right, let's get as a fun, joke. Obviously, people that watch it now probably wouldn't have a clue because it's one of those things. It's of its time. But at the time, I remember seeing that show, and I remember that very well. He had a goatee beard, and he shaved it off. He turned up to filming with no goatee beard, and I'm like, well, this is not going to work. No one's going to know who you are. So they sent him along to a wig shop to get a fake one put on just to do that scene.
Wow.
It's stuff like that. It's
these are the tidbits you're gonna get, at these events. I mean, that's incredible.
Yeah. But he's got loads of really good stories. So yeah, really impressed with that. Colin Miller, another sound editor, worked on the 80s Bond films, worked very closely with John Glenn. John speaks very highly of him, actually, Colin, of the work he did, and especially the late 80s films, the Dalton films that he worked on with him. And also it's probably going to be the only time when we've got every sound editor that's still living from the pre-90s Bond films in one room.
Yeah, that's incredible. I wonder, did he ever did he work with Norman before, or did they met before? Because it's going to be great to see multiple sound editors.
They're very good friends.
They're very good friends.
I spoke to Norman about it, and he said, I'm really happy that Colin couldn't attend last year for somewhat. I can't remember the reason behind it.
Oh, wow.
He was really excited that he's actually attending this year, so it's going to be something special.
Yeah, that's great. What a list! I mean, and it's still going on.
Yeah,
I mean, there it
goes.
Oh, Vernon is back as well.
Yeah, Vernon.
Yeah.
Now,
Vernon, the oldest guest, I think he's 95 now, 96. This is a year on, and he is just amazing. He's such a nice bloke.
Yeah.
He's worked on some cult films as well, some really interesting cult films like Life Force and things like that he's worked on. But yeah, he's worked on the 80s Bond films, and he had some terrific stories that and he's not afraid to say things either, which is great because you get all these juicy bits coming out. He just says it.
Sometimes that's like the best bits, isn't it? Where because you've heard some of these guys chat on maybe magazine interviews or podcast interviews, but when they're live and there's kind of no restrictions or whatever, it's just let them loose. You get to hear some pretty amazing things.
Yeah. It was like I said before, like they really feel like Quantum shouldn't have been made. I mean, that's one of those examples. And they have some good arguments for it. They're just of their time. They're editors of that era. So it's and I think this picture you used of him is actually at your event as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Well spotted. Yeah, it's my picture from the event last year. Yeah. It was good. I mean, he was great. And the good thing is, some of them. So we are doing autographs, signings, things like that. But Vernon isn't charging for autographs, and some of I don't think John's going to charge for autographs. There's a lot of our guests that actually aren't charging a penny to sign their things, which you know, obviously if you've got anything, that's pretty generous, you know, to do that.
Yeah.
But he's great. I mean, we had to get him back. What a laugh he was last year. And the sound panel was, I think we timed it. It was the longest panel, and it was the most interesting panel
It was.
discussion
It was.
at the whole event. We had obviously Caroline Monroe, Madeline Smith, iconic Bond girls. We've got, you know, henchmen there from Pierce Brosnan, Daniel Craig films. And then you've got the sound guys, and you think, oh, you know, if you're don't know the behind the scenes stuff, you think, oh, I'm not too sure how this is going to pan out. And then all of a sudden, it was just gold. It was just the stories that they were coming out with.
Yeah, it just
were
comes
incredible.
alive when you put them together, and
it does.
Yeah, the stories
absolutely.
come out.
Conversation flows.
I don't think it would have, you know, wouldn't have been the same without him. But I mean, he is 95, 96. You know, I don't think he'll be doing another one. So this may be the last chance to sort of get an autograph from him or just to chat with him, really.
Yeah.
So if you can get to the event, because, you know, I tell you what, he was a stuntman as well. Do you remember when he tried to jump over that cable? There was like a cable that was like, it was like a no-go area. So we'd sort of like roped it off, so you weren't allowed to go in the area. And we had the projector and all that stuff. We had these wires, and he literally tried to jump over these wires. Do you remember that, Jordan?
Yeah,
everyone was like,
I do.
Oh my goodness, is it? You know, what's he going to do? Is he going to trip? With all the power going to go out? And
yeah.
I was like 96 years of age or 95 doing that. Yeah, that was hilarious.
Incredible.
What a great guy.
Yeah.
Just on that note of the wires, that won't happen this year. We've got a workaround.
Without the wires, yeah.
Hopefully, anyway.
With that issue out. That was funny though. And obviously Graham v Hearthstone. So, like I said before, we've got every single sound editor pre-90s in one room for the first time.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty special, and also for them guys as well, because I think Norman hadn't seen Graham or a few of the other sound guys for like years. Because obviously Norman lives up north now, and a lot of them live kind of around Pinewood area.
I'm sure he told me, Matt, it was the 90s, I think.
Wow, really?
I think so. Yeah.
So we will try and get a picture of all these guys together.
He was at the last year as well, right, Graham?
He was.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. I remember he also worked on License to Kill, because he was asking that question to the crowd where do you know the moment in License to Kill where you can hear there is a hidden secret in it? Does anyone know? And I was the guy raising the finger. Like, I know. And it's the ricocheting bullets with the Bond theme in License to Kill. And I felt like the nerdy guy in the room, like, oh, I know what you mean. But yeah, another great guest. I'm glad you assembled all of them again, these great editors all together.
And how cool is that moment as well? It's like, it's so subtle that if you didn't, you know, you might catch it if you were lucky, but so many people have probably seen that film, you know, two dozen times and don't even know it's
just
there.
Flies over. Yeah.
But it's done really, really well. It's a very, very clever way of doing it. One thing I was just going to ask, Matt, like these guests coming in are looking fantastic. Will there be an opportunity for the people that are attending this to ask their questions as well on the day?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Great question, Chris. Matt and I discussed this actually in our last team group call about possibly having a box where people can write on a piece of paper their questions, and we can go through them. Nice. Because sometimes people aren't always that keen on raising their hand and having and asking a question across the floor, a bit shy. So we thought if we can ask people to either anonymously write on a piece of paper or put the name with it, and we can go to them with a microphone, or we can ask it on their behalf. No problem. So yes, definitely.
So they can start thinking of questions now then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can email people if you're not going to the event. They might have some great questions that we can put to our guests. And but I mean, Graham's great, and his daughter actually worked on the Bohemian Rhapsody film. She did sound for it, I think.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm not sure if she won an Oscar or got nominated for an Oscar for it. I can't remember now, but yeah, I think she won. I think she won it actually. I'm not sure. I'd have to double check that. But yeah, Graham was nominated twice for sound special effects. I think he worked on Alien as well.
Oh, did he? Oh, nice.
So lots of things. I think our next one. I'm hoping I've got this right in the layout. So the next one is a guest, a very, very rare guest that hasn't been to an event for a very long time. I can't remember the last time, maybe 30 years we're talking about. And this is a really rare guest. We've spent so long trying to track this person down. It's just been so long. So if it isn't this person, I'm going to look like an idiot.
I feel like there needs to be a drum roll right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm very curious.
Drum roll. Yeah, right. So I'm hoping I've got the slides right. So the next guest is Jan Williams. From Russia with Love.
Way.
Very nice.
That is a really good guest. And I think the first thing that Chris said when we first did this event and we said we're going to do From Russia, I'm like, well, could you try and get her because she's still going, she's still alive, she's still around, and was like, yeah, great. And wow, she's just off the grid. She's not online. She's not. It's really tricky to track this person down. She's appearing at Film Fair, but that's just a literally sign an autograph. I'm not sure if you can even take pictures now because when I went last time, you couldn't take a selfie. You have to have like a professional photograph and all that nonsense, which is like 30 odd quid. So, which is a shame because, sometimes you just want to get a picture with them. So yeah, you could get a picture with her. She'll have some great stories, I'm pretty sure, about Robert Shaw, that, what it was like working with him and on that set in that Spectre Pinewood scene, that must be one of the coolest things. And For Russia with Love is probably the most critically acclaimed Bond film, I'd say, in terms of, from the critics' point of view and some fans as well. So to get someone involved from the film, that is pretty cool.
Is she offering half-price massage as well?
I was gonna ask. I didn't dare. Yeah, I had the same question in my mind.
That's a really good coup, fellas. A really, really good coup. Like she came to the Bond Stars event in 2009, I think it was, the From Russia with Love one.
Yeah,
that's pretty much been one of the very few things that she's done where she's done talks about it, and to get her and be able to do a Q&A with her and for the guests to meet her. Anything going back to like the 60s is obviously so difficult, and obviously From Russia 63 you got Norman and you got Jan Williams. That's really, really good going.
Yeah, incredible.
That's lovely.
Oh, Rob, I think there was something that Rob posted. I missed that.
Yeah, sorry, he said
Pawn Stars 2009.
2009.
Oh, the same thing. Yeah.
And that was it, 92 Pinewood Convention. Yeah, so she's only done a few events, so it's a really good opportunity to sort of meet with her, have a chat with her. I've never met her before. I've heard stories, so I'm really looking forward to it. And like Chris said, to get someone from Russia with Love 60 years on, that is a task.
I mean, that's great. I mean, this is an event for the. What was it? From Russia with Love, Live and Let Die, and Octopussy anniversary, right?
Yeah.
I mean, great that you got.
We've got, I think, last time I counted, we got 13 guests, 12 to 13 guests.
Yes, it's 13, Matt. Yes.
14. So that's the biggest amount of guests at any Bond event this year, I'm pretty sure. Which is a huge amount. We're very lucky as well to have all these people. And there may be more because we're in talks with a few other people behind the scenes. So
incredible, as if
there won't be many
enough.
more. If it was enough. Well, we haven't. We're sort of finalising details, but we may have another one. We might have another one or two, but that will be it after that because we're just going to run out of room for us guys, I think.
Will you be having Steve Barnett again as well?
Unfortunately, Steve can't make it this year. For one reason, he's got other commitments on. I know he's filming something at the moment. It isn't Bond. That's definitely a thing. But he just can't say about it. So
that would be a shame if it was.
Well,
126. It's secretly being filmed now. It's due out in like 2 weeks' time. No one knows about it.
He's busy. That was great as well. I mean, Steve had last year. He had this whole presentation, which he called. Ramblings from the Set, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, that's it. Yes.
And it was like 45 minutes, and that was part one. And and the incredible thing was later on, me and my friend Philip, we got to speak to him at the bar, and then he told this amazing story about Anna de Armas, which at the time he was completely unaware who it was, because he's not really into all the celebrities, so he had no clue. So he had a great story on her, and then we were saying like, oh, you should have told that in your Ramblings on the Set. Well, that was in part two. He said. So he didn't have the time. What a great guy as well.
It wasn't 45 minutes. It was about an hour and a half he spoke.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
And that was part one.
And the other one was that length as well. So.
It was a huge, but the stories are great. And actually, we managed to do a live video with Steve. So we've gone through the whole Ramblings with him. He's No Time to Die Ramblings. One of our videos previously, which we did back in February this year. So if you want to go and have a look at his slides and things like that, but yeah, I mean the stories are terrific.
Yeah,
we're very lucky. But I guess speakers, John Alty behind the stunts and Luella Chapman, they're going to be here to do presentations and chat with the stars and things. So that will be pretty good and both very knowledgeable. And obviously Luella's husband James will be there as well, and he knows his film inside and out. So he, tutors. He's a film professor and all the rest of it. Written lots of papers, and he's written a really good book on Dr. No. If you haven't got it yet, go out and buy it because it's really interesting.
Do you know what the title's called?
You know what? I was trying to think of it. I've literally got the book right there, but I can't think of what it's called. It must be like The Making of Dr. No or something like that. But
that would be good.
But we had him at our event this year. We had both of them, both the Chapmans.
At the Ian Fleming walking tour event, yes.
Yeah, we did a Fleming event with Andrew Lysett.
Mm-hmm. The book's called Dr. No, the first James Bond film.
Oh, cool.
That's
Thanks,
the one.
Nick.
Yeah. But it's a really good book, and he's unearthed some interesting things that I didn't even know about the film before. And he's literally gone through the archives, looked at the scripts, looked at everything, and yeah.
Funny enough, I was watching Dr. No with my mate Rob. I think Rob's listening to this, watching this at the moment. And we'd been to Goodwood, one of the car festivals, a revival, which is amazing. Actually, everyone should go. It's full of amazing cars. There are so many Astons. It's the most DB5s I've ever seen in one place. I must have seen at least a dozen DB5s. Aston V8s, Lotus Esprit turbos, like Bond cars everywhere. It was fantastic. And James Chapman's book. Oh, there we go. Rob's just put it there. And and basically, it's just something that I think everyone should give it a go at some point. I've forgotten what I was going to say now. What were you saying before that, Matt? I do apologise.
Right. I don't know. You sound about Goodwood Revival.
Yeah, I can't remember what I was gonna follow that on with something. But it'll come back to me. Sorry, it's the old age, I think, is what it is. It'll come back to me. But it'll come back. I do apologize.
But Rob is really into classic cars, because I remember he was. What did he bring?
He is, yes.
What was it again last year?
He brought
Because I remember I was in the car with Matt at the location tour, because obviously I flew in with a plane last year, so I didn't have my car. So I was in Matt's car. I remember Rob was driving in front of us, and all of a sudden, what was it? Like the door opened midway.
Just like
I remember you were like, oh, he's going to launch or something. It felt like he was going to take off. And then Philip was in the other car in front, and he grabbed some bag or something that almost flew out.
That's quite funny. That reminds me.
Yeah,
he's got a Herbie. He's got a Herbie car as well. And that's what we went to Goodwood in. And initially, it was, these cars have their own character. It's so strange, but just like in the film. And I tried to open the door, and it wouldn't open, but it wasn't locked. And then Rob tried it, and it still wouldn't open. And it was if the car didn't quite trust me yet, because it had only just met me. And then after a while, eventually the door opened, and then I got in and we drove to Goodwood, and then on the way back it opened fine. So it was almost like it was just testing me to see.
That's brilliant.
But I remember what I was going to say. It's come back now. So Dr. No, right? So Rob and I watched Doctor No. Hadn't seen it for a while, and I pointed out a scene, something that happened in one of the scenes he'd never seen before or noticed before, and he's seen this film like but all of us like thousands of times. But there's a scene when you guys probably might all know this as well. But there's a scene where Bond and the chief inspector go to Strangway's place in Doctor No, to obviously where Mary was killed and there's blood on the floor. But just when they rock up, before they go into the house, right in the background, about this big, you can see the three blind mice going along. And that's such a cool thing. And I found that out a few years ago, I think it was, or a couple of years ago. But there's lots of these little nuggets that are in these films that are still being discovered after how many years. It's crazy. I think you did a piece on one of your episodes, didn't you, Haroon?
Yeah, I mentioned this as well, and I think in my remade review on Doctor No. It's one of those things I found out about, I would say 4 years ago as well. Like, I remember finding it like, holy shit, and now it's so obvious to me when I watched that scene, but it goes over. I remember pointing it out at the screening of Doctor No at your event last year. I was sitting next to Philip. I was like, hey, in the background, it's the three blind mice. He's like, what the hell? I've never seen. So it's fun,
It adds the extra layers, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Quality.
Yeah, some little moments are brilliant. But going back, I just say, go back to that. Obviously Rob's car. I think Philip Furch was in that car during. I think he didn't realise the door opened, and literally we're going down a one-track road, and he's flinging out the car. It was like out of a Bond film. I was like, wow, Rob's really into this today. He's going extra mile for us. This is incredible.
So much fun.
It was great. It was a lot of fun, and thankfully he didn't get hurt, so that was good. All good.
Yeah.
Right, raffle prizes. Now I do have some raffle prizes. So at the event, we do quite a reasonable raffle. I think it's £10 for like a strip of 5 tickets, or £15 for 2 strips. So that's 10 tickets. So it's £10 for 5 or £15 for 10, which is quite reasonable. The prizes we have got, I've got some really cool stuff. So I'm just going to show you a few things. This is pretty cool. You see, I've still got it all in its packaging. This is our Octopussy badge. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, nice.
How cool is that? That is from the 80s. That is a 80s Octopussy official badge. It's got 007 on it. That is pretty cool. So that's one of the raffle prizes. Vintage stuff. We've got this is cool. I can't even get this out because so basically I've got an original Live and Let Die Italian poster in here from the 70s. 1973, worth I don't know how much it's worth because I don't really know much about posters, but so we bought this for the event to give away as a prize. So all the money from the raffle is going straight to charity. So we've all these prizes have been donated, or we've gone out and bought them ourselves, just for fun really. So they're all orientated with the films. I don't even know what I've got. This is cool. So we've got Octopussy brochure. Look at that.
Nice.
From the 80s.
Oh, wow, that's a good
original
one.
film. Yeah, I think it's like a magazine. I don't think it's the film the actual program, but I think it's the magazine. But it's from the 80s. Look at that. It's pretty cool though. So mint condition. So I better not get my fingerprints over it too much. So there we go. I'll put that back later. Don't want to tear anything. What else have I got in here? Octopussy Special Annual, I think this is.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
From the 80s.
Very nice.
This is a classic.
My friend had that.
I was around in the 80s, a bit earlier.
Oh, wow. It comes back.
Actually published by Marvel Comics. I didn't even know that. That's pretty cool.
Wow.
What year were you born in, Chris?
I was 1980. So yeah.
Oh, wow.
But I remember my mate. I mean, we must have been about 5 or 6, and he had that annual. And I just remember it's going around to his house. Normally go out and play football or go out and do whatever. And I was just engrossed in this annual, going, "I'll be out in a minute. I'll be out in a minute." I just had to finish reading it before I went out. Yeah, that was fantastic.
Oh, this is cool,
nice.
Right? So even gets even better. How cool is this, right? This is an original From Russia with Love song sheet.
Wow.
Oh,
from the 1963. This is actually like Warren would love this. I think it's original.
That's
from the
superb.
60s.
Right.
That's mint condition. It's only like 2 pages, but how cool is that? That is just
Where
so
are you
cool.
getting this stuff, Matt? From Matt?
I'm not saying. I've literally
Of course you
looked at everything. I've got so many sources, but I've literally looked everywhere and tried to get all these things at a reasonable price, because obviously they are prizes and it does cost a fortune to buy it all. But these cost probably, off the top of my head, they're nearly worth £200, over £200.
And then you
all
can
this
just
stuff.
win
So
it. That's incredible.
you can win it for 10 quid.
I remember
That's
last
cool.
year
I'm
at
not
your.
finished. This is cool. This is
okay.
cool. Watch this.
There's
This
more.
is good. It gets better. Another from Mushy with Love, but this Nick would love this. Oh, this is really. I've got to be careful.
Oh, I know this one. Yes.
Is Nick allowed to win it?
I think
or not?
Chris is going to like this as well.
No, my wife
this is
Leah can do.
Right, this is mint condition. This is a final of from Mushy with Love.
That's brilliant.
My
Wow.
God.
And that
That
is
looks-
mint. That is literally mint crisp condition. How good
Is that the mono version, Matt? Is that mono
It's
or stereo?
mono.
Top right. Mono good.
It's mono, yeah.
Wow.
But
That's beautiful.
I mean, cool. That is, and it is literally, you wouldn't. It's like it's just come out. It's proper mint. That's incredible. So I love that. I think it's brilliant. So yeah, I'm set for Christmas. No, I'm joking. But yeah,
And there's more as well, isn't there?
so
That's just a few of the items.
There's more. There's more. I'm still looking at getting a few more items. We've got some magazines that have been donated by Chris Oaten, one of our members.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
And yeah, there's this. I mean, there's loads of stuff, but these prizes, we've topped it last year. We always get some cool prizes, some good stuff. But this year, I mean, yeah, we've got a poster, original song sheet, original final. That, you know, this stuff is worth a lot of money. So, and it's good because it's going to go to a Bond fan. So it's going to go to someone's collection. And
it will go to
all
the right
prizes
place.
are centered. They're centered around these films. And talk about raffle prizes. We've got the MPIL have donated the No Time to Die Daniel Craig jumper, which that's worth 300 and whatever pounds. And we're going to do a raffle for that. And you can just buy a ticket and win it.
Wow.
That's very cool.
I've seen this a lot on Saritsky's channel. Him wearing this one.
Yeah, and it's you know, the last thing Daniel Craig wears, isn't it, in the film? So to see him wearing that, and you could actually own that. So what's going to happen? MPIL have said whoever wins it, I've got to send them the address. Then they're going to ship it directly to them. So it doesn't matter about what size you are, because that's the beauty of it. You win it, and then you can get order whatever size you want. But someone's going to win that at our event, and it's going to be like, and the money will go to charity. And we've had a chat about this. I think it's going to cost about £15 just to enter. £15.
Wow,
that's really good.
What a great deal. I remember last year at your event, you also had this stands in the back where you can buy all these Bond items.
Yes.
Like, there was so much as well, like books and.
Oh, we had a couple of stalls. We had 2 or 3 stalls.
Wow.
Yeah, we still have them back this year. We have them back this year. So Dave and Nigel will hold the stalls, and yeah, they're going to sell loads of Bond stuff. I even bought some cool stuff last year. I mean, last year they had some really nice things. So I was like, yeah, it's crazy. So I don't know how they fit with their cars and stuff, because there was loads of stuff.
How did they do that?
I mean, even had the Tomorrow Never Dies jacket as well that got auctioned last year.
Yeah.
Phil said, "Can non-attendees enter?" Now, we've had a conversation about this, and the issue is people have paid money to go to the event and all the rest of it. So we've had a conversation. We said it's only right that actually the people win it are the ones that are in the room, because they've committed to the event, they've supported us, all the rest of it. However, what we're going to do is, we do have a Just Giving page. So if you donate anything, even like a few pounds or whatever it is, to our Just Giving page, you'll be entered into a prize draw to win a signed program or a poster or something like that. And we're going to get signed by as many guests as possible. So
that's really generous.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And so that people that aren't attending the event, they can still be involved in it. and it goes to charity because that's what it's all about. These are non-profit events. Anything that we have left over, we give to charity, or it rolls over to the next one. Lena said, "Is it cash only?" We do believe it is, but we're going to get confirmation next week because we're going to speak to the events manager again just to confirm absolutely everything. But yeah, I mean, the raffle is cash only. However, we do know what it's like because the guests will, like Nick said, they're going to ask for cash. They do not have portable card machines, unfortunately. So we could potentially take PayPal payments for the raffles and things like that if, we have no cash facilities. But yeah, all Above Brown have donated a pair of James Bond shorts as well. And they're worth
Do you
a lot
get
of
to
money.
choose which one, or is it a specific one?
You know what? I don't know really. They just said we'll donate. Yeah, they didn't actually say. They said we'll donate them, and I was just like, well, fine. If you're just going to donate it, I'll take anything. That's pretty good. But yeah, maybe I could. Yeah, whoever wins it, maybe could put a request in, and I can only ask, see what happens. I'm going to say, oh, thank you for the, I don't know, fundable shorts that you kindly donated, and then see what happens. But yeah, no, I mean, I didn't expect. I mean, we've emailed a few people, and they've been very generous, and to get two items that are worth over £700, that's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's a win-win for everybody because you could pay £15 to enter, which is not really a lot of money, but you could win something that's worth £300, and it goes to charity. That's the plus side of it. So it's a win-win for everybody. So yeah, we'll see who wins it on the day. That'll be fun. And we're going to try to do the raffle after dinner, before the casino. So we've got all the Bond guests there, and we might get John Glenn and all the other guests to sort of pull out the raffles.
So, I mean, are you going to go through like kind of a brief itinerary of how things are going to go? Because I know a few people are meeting up on the Friday, but the Saturday is kind of like the main event. Is it going to be a bit of a surprise, or is everyone going to know kind of what's happening at what time prior to arriving?
So yeah, that's a good question, Chris. We're still working on it. We are putting a program together for the event. That is a mammoth job. And Ruben Wakeman is an absolute legend.
Here we go.
I send him a really, brilliant, amazing, Chris. Yeah, exactly. Absolute legend. And he just works his magic. I send him the most tackiest, rough edition of a Word document that doesn't look like a sellable program. And he just clicks his fingers and does stuff to it and creates this amazing program. I don't know how he does it. I've just literally typed in the words and he just puts his magic on it. And yeah, so we're working on it because we've announced new guests, and we really have to sort of make a final decision on some people next week, just so we've hammered it all down. Because obviously it's got to go to printers, and I've got to proofread it and all the rest of it. So there will be one that emailed with. Hopefully, I can get it out by next weekend. That's what I'm hoping for. And obviously, Chris will chat with Nick and everybody else on the team privately, just so that we're all agreed that this is what we're going to do. So yeah, pretty good. Dave says, "Can I donate some stuff?" Yeah, I mean, Dave, massively generously donated stuff last year. Obviously, without the Tomorrow Never Dies jacket, we wouldn't have got that much money for the charity. So as well, so it was very generous. Thank you very much,
Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Jay.
And obviously, Mark Milson Foundation. We talked about Mark earlier. He was a camera operator, worked on Quantum of Solace, and obviously loads of other films. There was a stunt that went wrong, and so the foundation is basically making sure that it doesn't happen again, and it inspires young people into film. And as we're at a film event, and as Mark was a part of the community, worked on the Bond film, it just seemed to fit. It just seemed to be the right fit, and it's a really nice kind of it's a really nice charity, and it's one that doesn't get a lot of funding. So it's nice to be able to help something else that doesn't get a lot of attention or doesn't receive a lot of funding, because we know how hard it is nowadays for any charity. And they're all behind us, which is great. So yeah, that's what it's going to. So Just Giving page and everything else, we're going to put that all up there. The last remaining tickets now, but also help us raise money for this terrific charity by donating to our page or buying a ticket to the event. Because if you buy a ticket to the event and if we sell out, then those tickets will all just go to charity, because we've covered the event and things. So all of that, it'll be nice to put that towards charity, and that's just an extra bonus. So that'd be fantastic. But they're just giving it, you can win a prize as well, signed program or signed poster. We're working on a few things. So yeah, we're going to put the links out on our Facebook page again and all the rest of it so people know. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And right, so Operation Trinity talk kind of over.
Just one quick thing about that, Matt.
Yeah.
If I was just going to say, if anyone has any questions, where's the best place to get you guys? On Facebook, or what's the best place to get you?
Literally, Facebook. We do have a email. We do have an email, shakennotstirredofficial@gmail.com. But yeah, we're very approachable on Instagram, Twitter. I look at the socials quite a bit. So yeah, literally anyone. And we had 5 inquiries within the last 2 days. Because I think people have found out about us through events that are happening next weekend as well. People that probably didn't even know we existed. So yeah, there are still things going on, but whatever happens, even if we don't sell out, ticket sales have to close at a set time so we can finalize arrangements. We do have let's have a look, website. That is the website. So screenshot it if you can. And then that's where you buy your tickets. But yeah, I mean, we've got Jan Williams coming, we've got John Glenn coming, Normal Monster. I don't know what else we can do apart from get Nick to skydive into the event. I don't know what else we can do.
We can arrange that.
Yeah,
it can be arranged. Yeah. I tell you what, if we sell all the remaining, oh, that'd be good. But yeah, so yeah, if anyone, like you said, thanks Chris for that. Yeah, if anyone's got any questions, feel free to shoot, and we'll get that sorted. And thanks for those of you that have already bought a ticket as well. Yeah, it means a lot, because when we first started out, we had one event that was it was a thing. We used to do 3 events, but we used to pay them out of our own money, and it was very expensive for only 20 people. Very expensive to run, especially when you're not charging the ticket price. So we, in the end, and especially after COVID, everything shot up in price. You can't just hire a place for nothing no more. Everything's just so expensive. So to get all these people on board, to get the fans in, and for it to be pretty much sold out, we're really proud of that. So yeah, we appreciate all the support.
Yeah, rightfully so. I mean, you should be proud of what you guys achieved and what your guys are putting together for all these people and all these Bond fans. I mean, I can't imagine anyone buying a ticket, feeling bummed out that they spent money on something like this. I mean, you truly get a bang for your buck here. It's enormous what you guys are doing.
No, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah.
It's good. I mean, we enjoy doing it. That's the main thing. We're all fans at the end of the day, and I think when fans do these things, they create the best moments because we know exactly what we want in it. We know what needs to happen. Whereas if they're saying, I don't think they'll ever do an official Bond event, which is silly, really, because they've got all the contacts. They can make just they can make so much money out of it as well. Just think, if you had, I mean, let's go back to 2012 for the 50th anniversary. You know what they did with the Star Trek films, where they had all the captains together? I think it was at the Olympia or something like that. How good would that have been? Just to cut all the Bonds. It wouldn't have happened, but just imagine if they all sat in one, and you could actually just sit there and listen to them all talking, all in the same room. Now it's just a shame it never happened. I think that's one of the biggest regrets.
Eon seems more occupied, selling hugely expensive teddy bears and stuff like that.
Yes, that's been a lot of discussion recently, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Can I just Matt? Matt, I was just going to add to what you were saying before that about everyone getting one room, reminding me that we listened to your feedback last year with regard to the area that the guests were signing in was a bit cramped, and it was a bit awkward getting to the bar because we were kind of blocking that area off. So we believe we are able to host that part of the event in the restaurant this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
So it's
that's true.
Because they don't use they told us they don't use the restaurant, or they don't open it until 5 p.m. And I believe the signings will coincide with around about that sort of time. So it'll be good to have a bit more space to move around. And I think some guests will probably bring quite a good selection of photos to choose from, which is always a bonus.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm sure Norman will bring his Oscar again.
Oh,
He never thinks it's Oscar.
Yeah. I mean, I would.
Yeah. But he's so good with it as well, in terms of letting people, if they want to hold it while they take a photo, he's not sort of overly protective on it in any way. You know, some people they put it in a glass cabinet and then that's it. They wouldn't take it out. He's happy to everyone to have a go and stuff like that. Yeah, it's great.
And it's so heavy. It's really heavy when you pick it up. It's incredible. But I think I spoke to Nick and said, you know what? Yeah, we'd love it, because we weren't too sure if he was going to bring it. And he sent me an email or a message, I think, like a few days before. Do you want me to bring it? I was like, I don't know really, because I don't want it to get lost. You know, just imagine if it does get lost. Like, wow, we're responsible for that. There's a lot of responsibility, and that's one thing that went through my mind. And I was like, oh no, I don't know if this is a good idea. You know, having a. But he did bring it. Everything was good. He'll probably bring it again. So yeah, I mean, everyone at the event we know, everyone's pretty cool. No one's like in that way inclined, but it's just nowadays, you know, to you just carry a random Oscar around with you, you know.
It's probably a good defense thing if anyone you know tries to attack you.
Yeah.
Truthfully, you won't be able to run out with it because it is quite heavy. You wouldn't be able to just pick it up and just run, because it would just weigh you down.
Yeah.
But, yeah, exactly.
What I think's very cool. Yeah, so I was just going to say one other thing is that everyone that went last time, I can imagine, apart from the situations where they're not able to go, obviously Jeroen and maybe one or two others, I can imagine everyone that is able to go will go again, and everyone who hasn't been, if they were to come this time, you'd be guaranteed that they'll be like, right, we want to come next year and next year. It's just it's sort of spreading the love, getting everyone to experience what everyone was lucky enough to experience last time, and you know, I've spoken to quite a few people that were there last time, and everyone has said it was incredible. You know, it's just a gathering of like-minded people doing a lot of fun stuff over a weekend. It's not going to get much better than that, really, is it?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Chris. Yeah, that's what it's all about. Just coming together and just enjoying it. And obviously, there's a lot of organisation that goes into it behind the scenes, like months of planning, because there's so many things to coordinate. But when it comes together, it's seamless and it seems to work, and everyone just has a good time. Yeah, I mean, it's great. If you would have said, like, when we were kids watching Bond films, we're going to be hanging out with these people that work on the films and going to be talking to them, and you know, who would have thought that all them years ago? Pretty incredible, that. Very surreal.
And I remember being on cloud nine for weeks after the event as well. Like, I remember the Tuesday after the Monday, pretty much going back to work, and people would ask me, so what did you do in the weekend? it's you know, it's so hard to explain. You know, well, I've been over to the UK and spent some time with an Oscar winner and stuff. It's hard to explain, but it's you truly. I was on a high for weeks having experienced this event. So yeah, everyone is very right about how great such a weekend is. And I think it's spot on to hold it in one place where people are actually sleeping over. So you really get this school camp kind of vibe. That's really a winner, that type of event. It's not just one afternoon, you know, it's a lot longer.
It is, yeah. So we've got the Friday. Friday's just a social. I know a lot of people are probably just going to come down for the Saturday, but it's just an option for those that some people do come a day before, so it's just a chill out. And Norman's going to be there. Norman said he'll turn up for Friday, so it's an evening with Norman One Store.
Oh, does he? You know, you're going to play board games, right, on the Friday, I believe.
Yeah, we're going to get a few in, and well, hopefully we'll have more than a few people turn up. But it's going to be pretty hard to play. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those fun things, and there's so many Bond sort of games you can do. And I think I've got loads, but I've never actually played them before. So because when you're a Bond fan, no one wants to play because you're just going to beat everybody. It's pointless.
I've got a pack of Trivial Pursuit James Bond questions.
Always
which
good.
Which are a little bit easier than our quiz questions, I hasten to add.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the things. But so going on to the Sir Roger Moore auction, that was the other day, and I think I watched a bit in my lunch break about 1 o'clock, and then it was still going on. So like, I can't believe it. It was going on.
It was 10:20. It finished at 10:20.
Wow.
Yeah, and I watched the beginning, and I just couldn't believe. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know the backstory with the family and all the rest of it. I know there's probably a lot more to it. It's a very complicated situation. I know there's a few people who feel connected to a few people that feel very strongly that it shouldn't have been sold, these stuff, and which I think I do agree with to one extent. It's a shame it wasn't put. It's like heirlooms. You pass them on to your family members, and awards and things that mean a lot to you. But at the same time, what do you do if you're in that situation? What did you guys think of the auction itself?
Did any of you actually go to London and see the items, see the actual display at all?
Yeah, I did. I did a video on it a little while ago.
And what was the atmosphere like when you were there? Were there many people? Was it sort of almost like a Bond museum, or was it different to that in terms of it being a bit more prim and proper because it was an auction place?
It was weird, really, because it was dead. I mean, what was it about? I think we went in August, and the Freddie Mercury one was open, and that was, you just could not get in that. The queue was down the road. So I said to my wife Jem, I said, no, we're going to come back later. Let's do the Roger one first, because I wanted to see the pieces. But I was curious as well to what actually he had there, and I was surprised it was just empty, completely empty. We walked around for about an hour, and there's nobody there apart from, obviously, there was a couple of ladies on desk. And then we walked around, took pictures. I did loads of video. I don't know if you've seen the episode, but it's one of the first video I've actually put together. And Jem was there as well, and she really enjoyed it. And just going around, and it was quite sad, really, because it's like you're stepping into film history. You've got the ski suit from A View to a Kill. You've got the Moonraker suits, and it kind of, there's a hint of sadness because Roger is no longer with us, and it's one of those nostalgic trips, but also at the same time, it's like, it's sad. It's sort of, these things are disappearing. But at the same time, I hope whoever has the items that they're going to look after and sort of keep them.
I mean, just
like,
I mean, the Rogers backgammon set was sold, and that went for £10,800. So you would hope that that one we just shoved at the bottom of a wardrobe somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, the thing for me was there was a station. I don't know if you see the stationery set with like the letterheads, and it was valued at £80 to £100, and it went for £8,000.
No,
that was like, for me, I was quite shocked. So, it's quite good, but wow, I think, is it a case of people just because it's Rogers, right? I just want to grab something of Roger, and these mega rich people just going, buy,
Yeah, I had a quick I watched some of it. I didn't watch all of it. I watched some of it, but there was one or two items that were really sort of thought, God, that would be good. And one of them was a watch. It was like an Amiga watch on the 50th anniversary, but it's from Barbara and Michael to Roger. And you just and it was a special 50th edition of the watch as well. And you just think that's an incredibly special item because of obviously it's the watch itself is amazing. It's a 50th anniversary of Bond, and it's got that dedication from Barbara and Michael to Roger. I mean, I think that went for about 45, 46, 47k or something.
Yeah.
But that item I think was pretty special. But some of it I did think was a bit strange in terms of some of the stuff that was being sold. It was, I don't know, a card holder or certain things just seemed a bit strange.
The card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that's right. I mean, he had a lot of membership cards.
Also the sewing patterns when he was a model.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Probably one of the most odd things. His wallet with cash still in it. I couldn't believe that.
Really?
Yeah, they actually sold a wallet and it had like notes in it still. So that's just a bit random, isn't it? I've never seen that before an auction.
Yeah.
I mean, you've instantly got some of your money back, so pretty good buy, I suppose. But it's a bit weird, But yeah, no, it's. I mean, the only thing that got me was and I saw this on the day. A lot of people saying, "Oh, this is the actual screen use suit from the films." And when I read it, it was like they didn't have a clue what they were or where they're from because it says identical. So that makes me think they're not sure if they're obviously made for the film, maybe as a spare or duplicate or whatever, but. No one really knows.
I don't think any of them were screen. I don't think any of them were screen shown. I think they were all pretty because obviously they need to make a dozen similar suits if they're going through shooting, wear and tear, this, that, and the other, whatever else. And obviously Roger, I think he had it into his contract that he got to keep some of them afterwards. I think after Golden Gun, because wasn't there that story that I don't know if it happened with Live and Let Die, but with Golden Gun, I think he had into his contract they got to keep a suit, and then Cubby Broccoli was stood on some stairs and tipped over a load of glue or something that went over Roger's suit, and so he it obviously ruined it, but Cubby had a good laugh at that. There's something like that happened, I think. But I think the majority of the suits were not the ones that were seen on screen, but obviously they're identical too. And it's what do you weigh your, the importance. It's individual. It's all subjective, isn't it? How important to you, or what's the value of this item, and it's going to have a different value to every person. And also, I think there are probably some people who just assumed certain things were certain things, and therefore splashed out the cash, sort of thing. But yeah, I do. I mean, I think it was certainly, from what I saw, it was interesting, and I didn't get to see it in person, which was kind of I kind of would have liked to have seen it in one way, but equally, what you were saying at the start, there is that other side to it where something doesn't quite feel right. Because I know there was one stand or one sort of area that went towards UNICEF, but that was quite small compared to everything else. So there is that side to it where it's hard to kind of be fully behind everything, but then equally it's a difficult situation, really, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And
it is.
I think Phil makes a good comment there. Signed posters was strange. Yeah, so I don't think he would actually sit there signing them on a Sunday afternoon to himself. It seems a bit bizarre at best. But yeah, I mean, I don't know the backstory behind it. Unless you've got Beckett's in there doing an authentication of it, then you're not going to know. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things. I think it was interesting to see. And who knows, in say 60 years, we might even get a Daniel Craig auction or something like that. Who knows? But I just hope whoever's got an item that they look after it. And it's a shame that these things, maybe there's more that he's kind of their family's keeping. I'm hoping they've kept something. So I think it's, if your dad was Sir Roger Moore or your granddad, how cool is that? A James Bond, you'd like to have some kind of momentum to, keep and to pass on to your own family. So it's interesting. Yeah. Got to talk about next Saturday, because we definitely have a really big.
I was going to ask.
Kind of yes, and I know you're coming next Saturday. I don't know, Nick, are you coming next Saturday?
I should be there, providing I can get my Saturday game with Goldfinger in the morning.
Yeah.
early tee off.
Yeah. Well, I think it's pretty cool that Saritzi's come up with this. So David Saritzi from the Bond Experience, Operation Tune Maker. And it's just a get together, the Hippodrome. If you've never been to the Hippodrome before, it's a massive casino, several floors. It is actually the best steakhouse in London, because I've had steak there. It's really nice. It is actually good. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It'll be just a fun meet and casual, and it's free. And afterwards, we're doing a walking tour. Obviously, Philip Latchford, the Daily Moonraker, I'll give him a bit of credit for this one, because he's putting together most of it. And it's cool that we're doing a Moonraker kind of theme. That never happens, does it, really? A Moonraker themed event.
Because it's mostly locations from Moonraker, the book, then, or because I don't think there's a lot of London locations in Moonraker, or are there?
No, it's mainly France. I think it was just because, I don't know, David Saritzi come up with like a tune maker, so we had to keep it going. The Moonraker vibe going. There are actually,
when you get Philip Latchford on board, I mean, you're going to get Moonraker regardless.
You're going to get Moonraker. I mean, he sang it at our event.
Yeah.
Doesn't get much better than that, does it?
That was great. Classic.
I've got to see this. And as soon as he saw him singing, he was like, right, I've got to go. Yeah, it was good. It was good fun. I mean, it'll be good to meet David again. I think I met him last year for the first time. Very bizarrely, he was at the BFI, and me and Jen would just walk into another event. Wolfgang holds events for the German fan club. They were over. We went to meet him, and I was like, I've got to look at the cars, because obviously you had all the Bond cars at the BFI. And there was David Saritzi just standing there with David Williams. It's very random. And yeah, it was really good to have a chat with him. And then obviously the Sound of Music. I'm not sure if you guys were there for that one. Was you there, Chris, for the Sound of 007?
No, I couldn't make that one, sadly. No.
It's the first time I've ever been to Royal Albert Hall, and I missed out on the No Time to Die, the premiere. So to go to that kind of made for it. And it was a really good night, even though I had to get up silly o'clock the next morning because it's just, I don't know what it is with them holding these events midweek. It's right pain in the backside if you're a teacher. Because, you know you can't get the time off. It's really annoying. And that's the reason why I couldn't go to the No Time to Die premiere, because to get to London for what I think it was 7 o'clock start, maybe you have to get in there a bit earlier, and then to get home, get all tucked up and get down there, especially when you've got dismissed children that don't go. It's
you could have just worn the tux in school, and then as soon as you finish,
there we go. I could have done. If I went to the event, I probably would have still been in that tux the next day.
Yeah,
I mean, it was been one of those things. But if I'm a PE teacher, it's a bit awkward doing kind of like things in the tux. But staying that though, I did actually. This is going off topic, but I did actually ref a game dressed as Marty McFly for World Book Day. So that's got to be a Guinness World Record somewhere. It's got to be in there somewhere. I don't think many people have done that.
If Bond 26, whenever that comes out, we must somehow try to get as much people together at the Royal Albert Hall. I bet we'll all be seniors by that time, though. But still,
yeah, definitely. It'll be. I think it'll be more special because it'll be the first time. I think. I remember Daniel's era. I don't remember really Pierce starting. I was too young, but I remember Daniel's very clearly, like it was yesterday. But it doesn't. The world didn't feel as close as it does now. Back then, there was no YouTube, there was no Facebook, there was no online. Now it's a very smaller world. So I think it'll be a really scrutinized kind of premiere, and I think everyone will be there that we know. So it'll be kind of one big party. But
yeah. Well, I don't really know how to get like these tickets for the Royal Albert Hall yet. But if some of you have an insight to that, I'll definitely be coming down. Absolutely.
Well, I'm sure as different fan groups look out for each other, I'm sure we can all help each other out. Because we all want to go there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Hopefully Steve Barnett works on the film, so we'd be able to get a few tickets from
him. Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? The really cool thing was, there was a lot of people that, I know online, all the rest, and they were saying, I've got a spare ticket and I've got this. And it was really nice, actually. People looking at, I've heard a lot of that going around for the event. People that didn't have tickets, and someone had bought like 5 tickets just to give to fans like ourselves who couldn't get them. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, when there's a Bond event, I might have to actually sign up to the Royal Albert Hall membership just to, when we know there's a film being done, just so you can get the tickets. But
yeah,
I'm sure we will be there. We'll take a picture together for the next one. Yeah. But next weekend's going to be amazing. To do that on the Saturday and then on the Sunday, the Cue the Music at the O2, biggest crowd ever, I think, at Warren's event. So I'm glad it's worked out for him because it's a lot of seats to fill. And last year was amazing. Last year, the farewell kind of tour, everybody come out, and what an atmosphere! So electric. And I couldn't stay for any of it because obviously it was an early start, and I had my dad with me at the time, and he was keen to get home for work and stuff, so I couldn't stay. But this time I'm looking forward to doing the whole shebang, so it'll be good.
Yeah, so Chris, you're flying back that day, the Sunday from Germany.
Yeah, cheers, Jack. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you, Jack.
Easy, buddy. So I land from Berlin on the Saturday, and then I fly out to Turkey on the Sunday. I was hoping I'd fly out on the Monday, and I'll be able to do Cue the Music as well. But unfortunately not, which is a bit of a shame. But Warren's put out a list of events next year that they're doing, and they've got a lot already. Oh, wow. So it's definitely going to be a few more in the future that we can attend. And hopefully next year, like the big one next year, I'll go to that one if I can. Hopefully.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate comeback tour, I think.
Yeah.
It is really. I don't think even Take That did a tour like that. That's amazing, really. But yeah, that's pretty impressive. No, hats off to Warren. I know he works really hard, and he just doesn't stop. So I hope he kind of got a little bit of a break. Because I think he was hoping to spend a bit more time with his family. So hopefully he still gets to do that as well. But he's definitely a hard worker.
But by
That
the
was
way,
just a
are
random
there
video.
before we go to the next, are there any previews you can give on the walking tour with Philip Latchford, or is it still completely on the wraps?
Well, I mean, there's a few. I mean, there's a few locations that we've been to before. We're going to head on. So I'm not going to say everything because obviously there's no need to be an element of surprise. But we're going to start outside the Odeon in Leicester Square, which is the premiere of Moonraker, which is really fitting. Obviously, for those who went on the No Time to Die walk, Five Guys. Now we went to Five Guys. Everyone's like, "What? This ain't a Bond location." Well, it actually is. It's where Scott's restaurant used to be located in Piccadilly,
Oh,
London.
okay.
So, yeah, and it's mentioned in The Great Escape as well. Meet at Scott's in Piccadilly, and so that's a reference. And it's in Moonraker, and it's in a few of the other novels where he meets Tanner and a few others. Interestingly, as well, Guy Hamilton and Roger Moore met for Live and Let Die. They met to discuss Live and Let Die at that very restaurant.
In Five
So,
Guys. Wow, that's very impressive.
yeah, it's now a Five Guys. It's now a Five Guys. Who would have known?
With
So
the bottomless bag of fries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who would have known? Who would have known? But yeah, it's just that kind of weird, zany trivia. I mean, I think there's the Royal Opera House. Hugo Drax had a box there in the novel.
Oh, yeah.
I know that's down there. That's
Yeah,
on the other
nice.
side. But you know, we're not just going to. You couldn't stick to just Moonraker because that would be it. I think you'd have to.
Yeah.
It's just a generic film tour, but it's got that vibe. But it'd be good fun. All the walking tours are always good fun. I remember the last one, the most frantic one, JBR one. I remember that, Chris, a few years ago.
Oh,
God,
yes.
we had to try and
Yeah.
catch a
That was
ferry or something, didn't we?
honestly,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean,
Yeah.
to get to there were so many locations and to whiz randomable. I don't know how we did it. It was just like
Well, I
that was
don't think
probably
everyone
the
managed to
most.
do everything. A couple of people left behind on one or two of them, I think. But
Yeah, we got left.
it
I
was a
remember
good
we got
day,
left
though.
behind with
There's
Brian
about
and
five or six of us. We missed the ferry by about 2 minutes.
yeah, that was
We
it.
just saw it. They were just taking the rope off the pier.
Yeah, it's because you were with the
Good
economy
memories,
tour.
Yeah.
yeah.
There we go.
But at
Yeah,
least I won't be
it's
missing out on the MI6 building this year. We actually booked a hotel right behind the MI6
Oh, that's
building at
cool.
Foxhole.
Oh, right. Okay. Uh-huh.
And the cool thing is the address of the hotel. It's actually called Bondway. It can't be a coincidence. Like
Wow,
the
that's
street
cool.
behind it is called Bondway. So that for me was reason alone to say, yeah, we're taking this one. Great
Well,
location.
actually, you're going to really like the walking tour because that's practically where it ends. So you're just a stone's throw away from your
then
hotel.
I'm
How
right
good's
at my
that?
hotel then.
Personal service.
Oh.
And
Great.
actually, you're near the Riverside Bar, which is the first event we ever held.
Yes, I know.
Bond event
Yeah,
we
I
held
saw
there.
that. I've been checking out Street
Yeah,
View quite
that
a
is
bit.
really nice. That is a really nice bar. Hey, David,
Yeah.
the Bond experience.
Oh,
How you
Zaritsky
doing?
is here as well. Can't wait to
Evening,
meet you
Daniel.
next week.
Yeah, we just talked about Shoemaker and obviously that moonlit tour, walking tour. So yeah, lots of stuff happening. But I mean, it's been a really fun night today, guys. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
I mean,
spent 2 hours.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
yeah, exactly. We've announced the rare guests to have 13 guests from Bond films, Jan Williams, and all of them rare people coming. It's going to be one big event. It's going to be terrific, and I really can't wait. Obviously, we talked about Roger Moore auction. We talked about lots of other things.
What
And
about
if you
on the
want to
Sunday?
donate,
Because you mentioned about the Friday, we're going to be doing a bit of
yes.
social get
Board
together.
games.
Obviously, Saturday's a big day with everything. Cheers, David. I miss you too, buddy. And what about the Sunday then? Can you tell us a bit about the Sunday?
Yeah, so we're gonna do our tour. So obviously, Jeroen, you took part in that last year, walking around Black Park, taking in all of them films and finding Fort Knox's entrance, the road leading up to Fort
The
Knox.
fence and the trees.
That was yeah, and the trees. Yeah, searching for random
That was
trees.
that was a labour of love to research that. I mean, it's not a difficult place to sort of locate exactly where it was, but I had to get some information from Dave Worrell to kind of back a few things up, which I thought were actually there, and they were. So, yeah, it's that part of Black Park has changed slightly, and also a lot of trees have been taken down, but obviously more have grown. So, yeah, Dave Worrell was able to help, so thanks to him.
Have you passed that? Have you passed that discovery on to on the tracks 007 yet? Because I think you guys discovered that, right? The Fort Knox bid.
Well, it's not that it's not written down anywhere as such. I think on the tracks, Martin Mulder has. I think he's mentioned that in his book, but it's just one of those things that's not talked about a lot, I guess.
Yeah,
it's not. But for me personally, it was quite. Back then,
much exotic as that.
You see, back then in the '60s, there was no fence there, and I read from Peter Lamont's book that the contractors have actually started to take down trees without actually having the permission granted, and start to build the road. And I remember speaking to Peter Lamont about this. Sadly, he's passed away now, but we were at an event at Pinewood. Believe it or not, Matt, this was 5 years ago in 2018.
Wow, 5 years ago.
Yeah,
that's when we first met at that event. Yeah.
And I was speaking to Peter back then about, and he mentioned about contractors moved in and started to lay the road without the permission fully being granted and so on, taking down trees or moving trees, actually, I think. So, yeah, it was a bit of a labour of love to do a bit of research on that particular one. And then, obviously, the infamous clown tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say they're going to say thanks to On the Tracks book for this, Martin's book, which pinpointed the general area. But then when we went there, it's just like, which tree is it?
Yeah, look very similar trees, some of them.
Yeah.
which one?
Great moments.
Did any of you find anything from the road at all, from Goldfinger or not?
Oh yeah, we did. Yes, Chris, you might have disappeared earlier. Yeah. Spectre might have put their boot in on that one, so to speak. Not with a knife, I hope. So it was Dave Wall who told me that if you sort of go down the perimeter of the fence, there are bits of concrete that he believes that were left over from when it was broken up back in 63, 64, when they did the road, when they finished the film in there. And yeah, there are some fragments and some larger ones. And you'd think that you would hope to believe they were the ones, because you wouldn't have thought the owners of Black Park would allow now any kind of filming there to be done and then just dump the debris from leftovers. So, because we know, Matt, you may remember, Matt, when we went in there for a recce, we happened across the filming of one of the Jurassic Park films. Was it?
Oh yeah, so that was the latest Jurassic Park film. They were putting up the
netting
for
the green screen netting and so on. Yeah. So you'd imagine that if
someone was filming that evening,
brought material, earth and so on, they would have to take the same stuff back out again. Yeah. Leave it as you found it, so to speak. So yeah. So on this tour,
on locations, just leave it as you found, like as in, don't touch them. Like going to like the chateaus in France, they look exactly the same. I think you know how you've got these nature preserves for old buildings from Egyptian buildings, Greek buildings, whatever. It should be the same with Bond locations. Just like once it's done and it's shot, just leave it. Don't do anything to it.
Yeah. Mm.
Should be film heritage site. Can't touch it.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. David just says, great to see you, gents. Just came back from corporate meetings. This is a nice palate cleanser. Yeah, thanks, David. Hopefully you have.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Or evening, wherever you are. But yeah, I mean, it was a good tour. We're going to Shrublands again for Thunderball, because Thunderball is a good location. And there's a few more.
We've got a few new ones actually.
Yeah, a few new ones that we're probably going to say, and they'll probably be in the event program, but we still need to go through that. Even though it's 3 weeks away, we still got to finalize a few things, but it's going to be one big event, and the stuff that everyone's put in so much hard work You know, X-Ray Stu's graphics have been absolutely phenomenal. The posters he's created, guest announcements, literally I'll say, can you do this? Boom, and it's there the next minute. It's like,
and we've got some fantastic tableware as well, so to speak.
Yes. Oh well, yeah.
Table items.
This is all top secret stuff. But yeah, some people are gonna be very excited when they turn up to this event because you're gonna get
definitely
going to
be in for a treat
free
again.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this would be the biggest event we've ever done, and it will just be kind of one of those things. I mean, you know, we've got all of the sound editors from the pre-90s Bond films all in one room. We've got, you know, I think 3 out of the 5 people that are still alive from Russia with Love. You know, to have Jan Williams there, to have Norman Wanstall there, to have a few other people, and we still might have another guest from Russia with Love. We're still waiting to confirm that. So we could potentially have most of the people that are still alive from the film there, which would be absolutely amazing. David said, there's less than 10. So we're looking at about 7 or 8 tickets, 007 tickets, perhaps. Who knows? But it's along that line. So they are going. Ticket sales end on the 15th. But I think they'll probably sell before then. And all the tickets, like I say, we do it for charity. It's all gone non-profit for the Mark Milson Foundation. So it's a really good event. And anyone that donates will get, you know, a winner signed poster of some sort. So someone will just.
The raffle is brilliant. The raffle, some of those prizes that you mentioned earlier, so good.
I mean, this stuff, the From Russia with Love final, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, we're showing it again because David is now watching. We need him to show.
We need him to, yeah. I think David would appreciate the Octopussy badge. I think he would appreciate that. It's upside down. I think he would like that one. That's pretty good. I mean, all these are vintage stuff, but actually, I can't. It's a shame I can't get the Live and If I get that Live and Let Die poster out, I won't be able to put it back in again. That's my one. And then
keep it
you
in.
know, but
the Italian one, right?
Yeah, I've got a picture of it, but it just didn't come out very well. See if I can get a picture up. Actually, let's see.
Yeah, you can find it on Google.
I've got a picture up.
Google, of course.
Well, this is actually a
Is it one of the slimline? Is it one of the slimline posters, Matt? The photo.
No, it's like a landscape. I think it's a landscape.
Oh, is it? Oh,
it's actually an Italian one. So I don't think it's. I've not seen many. Oh yeah, David loves the badge. Yeah, we've got more stuff than that as well. We've got some really cool stuff. But in here is a Live and Let Die poster. That's all I can show you. It doesn't look too appetizing, but
you got to take his word for it, David. It's in there.
I'm gonna post a picture. I did take a picture when I first got it, and I showed it. I think Chris, did you see it?
I might have seen it actually, yeah, and it looks damn good.
Yeah. It's actually really good condition for like 50 years old or whatever it is. But yeah, it is. We've got some really cool prizes. £10 for a raffle to win one of those prizes. So
yeah, incredible.
Yeah, David's impressed. There we go. That's good. That's all we need.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've got so many things. But I tell you what, David will love this. I've got to show him this again. Where's that from Russia with Love thing I had earlier? This is
the song sheet.
This is the impact David Saritsky has. We went over 2 hours, but now he comes on. So now everything needs
no, we got to do it all again.
Yeah, we're doing it again.
This is the original song sheet. Let me take out plastic. Original song sheet from Russia with Love. For some reason my camera goes all blurry when it gets too close, but there's actually like
yeah. I mean, where does he get this stuff, 60s. Right?
Yeah. Black market activities.
Yeah.
From the Russian doorman, along with certain other things.
It's trawling antiques.
Yeah.
Memorabilia.
Did you also manage to make one of those mugs again? I think I've got yours right here from last year.
The heated mugs. Now
the heated mugs, yeah.
Like Christmas,
that's what he said before, actually. Christmas.
We did have we did a really cool heated mug last year, and it had shaken.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Oh, go on then. Does it?
There it is.
Yeah, it's just a.
Have you got some hot water as well, Jeroen?
I have to put it on, but you have to take my word for it. The logo appears. You can see it kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see it's there. He's used it. That's good.
In the lighting, you can see it, but it comes on.
Yeah, you can see it. That was actually the best thing we've ever produced. That was just pretty cool.
Nice one.
But yeah, I mean, the mugs we sold out of them. I think.
Yeah, he has one of them.
Have fun there, but when it heats up, it just comes up, and it's Ruben's design, and that was the best thing we ever made. But they were so expensive to make, honestly, and like I don't know how Rowan does it because he has so much merch, and you think they cost money to make this merch, to buy,
of course,
to get it produced, and then to sell it. And we didn't make much on these. I think we're just making £5 off of each mug just to put back into charity or into the event. But the mugs were really good sellers, but the rest we had tote bags left over, and it just didn't have the impact. And was it £900 to produce every single item we had, which was a lot of money, and we didn't get all of it back. So it was just. But the mugs were really cool. Exactly. I mean, it was good for a good cause, and if if you have a mug, then it's very rare because there was only like 25 of them. So
very lucky.
So there's going to be
Matt, I've just heard the 007 store has got to get some stock for Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than the teddy bears, I guess.
To be fair, actually, probably the most reasonable item I've actually got there was actually they did a heated mug, a 007 logo one. Remember, like a couple of years ago, I think, and that was like £20. Now,
really? So
how did they go from that to? I mean, do you remember the stickers that come out? The luggage stickers, like £200 stickers. And they just go on your luggage. £200 stickers. You could get a swatch for that price.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. Some of the bizarre stuff the 007 store. I mean, you've seen the odd job hat. That's the latest.
Oh, the latest one. Is that £500?
Yeah, I think so. But it's a numbered edition. So it has a number on it. So
are you actually able to throw it as well and decapitate statues? Well, by the way, now that David is on, if there's one thing you got to re-mention again, because he will be kind of proud of you, is you got to go back to the M. Peel shirt that you because David just loves.
Let's get the presentation up. Yeah,
because he's going to be proud of you for having that at your event.
So we did mention your event, David. Obviously, we're looking forward to that next Saturday.
Yeah,
that'll be.
This
cool.
is especially for David. I mean, he's going to love this.
There we go. Yeah,
there it is.
That was cool. So we do have obviously the M. Peel No Time to Die jumper. The M. Peel have donated that very kindly, and all of our Brown are donating a pair of James Bond shorts. So we're going to give them away. And the raffle prizes are cheap. They're £15 to £20. So you can't get a £300. You could get £300 item for £15, £20.
Incredible.
And it goes to charity. So what more do you want? That's pretty cool. But it's thanks to the kind people at MPIL and all of our brand, because without them, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So very generously donated. But yeah, we've got some raffles. We have to get loads of tickets for this one, I think, because they're going to sell like hotcakes. Is that odd job hat throwable? I think it comes in a glass display. I'm not sure if you can throw it.
I'm sure you could.
You could still throw
it around if you want.
Throw it around, yeah. Maybe it should come with a warning.
Yeah.
Anything that's throwable, you're throwable. There we go. Oh my goodness. But yeah, there's some interesting things. And what did you guys think, just quickly, before we there's this 007 game show called 007
I put real people into a James Bond adventure to win £1 million.
£1 million, man. What wouldn't you do?
Climb the crane? No.
Oh, hello.
The only thing standing in their way is me.
So yeah, that's the video.
Yeah, that was actually the first time. That was the first I've seen this. Actually, I've only seen snippets of it pop up yesterday. I saw people talking about it, but now I've actually only just seen the full thing. That's kind of cool.
I mean, something to tide us over, but I don't think, maybe they should have that little thing. The only thing stopping us from Bond 26 is me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like at the minute. I mean,
Yeah.
it's great that we've got something, but it'll be interesting. I think it'll be an interesting experiment more than anything. But are they
Yeah.
actually Bond fans that enter? That's the key. Do they have a clue of what these scenes are from? Because I think I saw one snippet. It's like, oh, I've got to climb this crane. Well, yeah. Have you not seen Casino Royale? Do you know what happens?
Yeah.
It kind of makes me think that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know really. I think we'll see how this series goes. But if it flops, I don't think they'll bring it back. Amazon, I suppose, they've got to get their money's worth from buying the franchise,
Yeah.
buying into it. So I think it's one way for them to make a buck or two. But yeah, I can't see how they're going to get people hooked on multiple series of this when there's a film that's just waiting to be made before
Yeah,
everyone gets
definitely.
too old.
Yeah.
Chris as a stuntman.
Yeah,
That's
it
brilliant.
looked
That's
quite
true,
cool,
actually.
They really should have asked him. Yeah.
In terms of the stuff that they on that little clip there, it does look good. Lots of people were saying when the call went out, am I going to go for it? But I had a few things going on in my life at the time, so I couldn't.
Yeah.
But the stuff they're doing looks pretty badass, really. But again, it's definitely not a replacement for what our addiction to Bond. I don't think it's sort of. It'll be interesting to see what it's like, but it's not going to fill that void. Well, not my void anyway. until the next film comes out, I think.
I mean, it's kind of sad that when yesterday, Global James Bond Day, that at least for me, I don't think it was the same for you, but I wasn't expecting anything in terms of, unfortunately, how Eon seemed to be going at it lately. I mean, it's kind of a shame, they don't seem to be that hungry anymore to pump these movies out rapidly as they were, in terms of
I think
with Cubby in the past.
Would have been nice, wouldn't it? Just like nothing, it didn't even have to be big, but just a little something, just
Maybe
to be like,
us...
we're still kind of the cogs are turning, sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, throw us a bone, like
slowly building momentum until next year, where you would hope we may get something.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 2 years since No Time to Die, but you think No Time to Die was finished filming in the can 2019 before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Understandable reason why they didn't release it, because obviously with everything going on and with the virus element in the film, it kind of would be in bad taste. However, that was 2 years ago. Surely they must have thought at the time, right, these are our shortlisted candidates. They must have had some sort of inkling which direction they're going through, or, because that's a long time. And I can't believe for 2 years that they've just sat there and thought, you know what, let's just not think about it. Because surely at the back of their mind, every day, they must think, I wonder who we're going to get, or which director, or which direction. There must be a conversation going on somewhere, even if it's very trivial.
Oh, there has to be.
I don't know.
But the thing that strikes me is when you look at, the still the biggest hiatus between Bond films is still, License to Kill to GoldenEye, but that was for very good reasons, of course, with legal issues. But at least in that period, Cubby had a script ready for. I have Mark Atlitz's book here. I'm sure you guys know it, but there was a script for the third, number 3 Dalton film and the fourth one. They had two scripts ready for 2 consecutive films that never got made, but at least Cubby was always on the go. And it seems like Barbara and Michael, as much as I'm so nostalgic towards them, they seem to have this attitude as if No Time to Die was only finished last Easter or something. They only just came off of it. But like Matt just said, it was finished at the end of 2019. So actually it was 4 years ago when it was in the bag. And obviously, before it was released, it was a bit later. But still, at least a script or some ideas, or I'm sure there must be something going on. But the last bits we heard, that it was them saying, "Oh, the casting hasn't started. There's no no script yet." So that's so demotivating almost. It's such a shame because, we were hoping for more.
Like David said, 2019 to 2027. I mean, realistically, you can. We all know Casino didn't actually take so long to make. Quantum took even less time. So you could film it within 12 to 16 months and get the film out there marketed and all the rest of it. But it's a big deal. I think a big transition from one actor to another. And
of course, but
at this point, after the last film, where do you go from? That's the big question, isn't it? Where do you go? Because I think they've kind of dug themselves a hole a little bit by the ending of what happened. They've kind of it's going to be tricky to, do we get the same cast back now? Because the biggest, I think, loss from the new series will be that Ben Whishaw's Q. I thought was amazing. I thought
he's brilliant.
And the supporting cast, I think that was probably the highlight for me from sort of like Skyfall onwards, when the supporting cast got established, Moneypenny and all the rest of it. I thought it kind of flowed better, and that was a real positive thing. And they got the right people. Naomi Harris was brilliant. They all got the right people, but it'd be a shame. What do? They reset? Do they just say, "Oh, nothing's happened," and just
don't forget
continue?
we had the same M going from Pierce to Daniel.
Yeah,
it's true.
So it can be done. It can be done.
Yeah,
even though it's meant to be a different M, it's the same actress.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to say that can't be done. But yeah, I think, I mean, there are lots of potential options. It's just what one do they choose? What one do they go with? But they must be working with, they must be brainstorming. Obviously, like you said, it's 4 years since they finished filming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or more maybe. So yeah, there will be things going on in the background, but it just would have been nice just to have a little something just to whet the appetite a bit. But yeah, there will be something going on. It's just a shame it's not as speedy as we'd like, really.
Yeah, and Global James Bond Day seems to be, like I think David said in his live stream yesterday, it's for the fans more than it is for executives and Eon. It's more of a thing nowadays since Star Wars Day and things like that. It's a modern conception, isn't it? Really. I mean, I was at work and people didn't even have a clue what James Bond Day was. It's James Bond. What's James Bond Day? I never heard of it. Where is that? And it was really difficult.
Every day is James Bond Day.
Yeah,
exactly. Every day.
Yeah, 2027.
Yeah,
exactly. Well,
you're expecting it quite soon, actually, David. It's quite ambitious, but here in the Netherlands, actually, October 5th is also Global Teacher Day. I'm a teacher, but to me, it will always be Bond Day as well. So it's both of them in one day. But it's
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I tell you what, I mean, World Book Day, actually, we do have a few children dressing up as Bond. That I must admit, I was actually quite impressed.
Oh, really?
That's great. You won't see that here in Holland. It's not that big.
And it's not a secret that I actually like James Bond. Even the kids know. So
do you get extra marks for your PE if you come in a Bond Day?
I think the giveaway is when I put like the soundtrack to the films on, when we're doing like climbing the apparatus in gym. I get all the wall bars out and stuff. I'll just put like, Casino Royale soundtrack on, or I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. So educating the kids in the right way, it's always the best way to do it.
Man, I would have loved to have had a PE teacher who was well into Bond and just played all the tunes. That would have been incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool, and it goes with it. I don't know. I play all the movie tunes as well, so it's not just Bond, but I do feature Bond more. But I put like Indiana Jones on when we're on the ropes, we're swinging the ropes, because it just adds to a bit of, they probably don't even know what Indiana Jones is, but it just seems appropriate. It seems. And
what age are you teaching, Matt? What age are you?
So primary. Mine's like from 4 to 11, 12.
Same with me, same age.
There we go. Yeah, I couldn't go any older. That Latchford does that stuff. I don't know how he does it. I couldn't. His lessons must be good. He goes proper Bond on his lessons. I'm saying I've seen some of his stuff, and like he's a geography teacher.
Occasionally, I do come across children that are into Bond, thanks to their fathers, but unfortunately, you don't see it too often anymore. Mission Impossible is more popular these days with children, and of course the Marvel movies and stuff. But I really hope it will get back to where it belongs in terms for children as well.
And if they could go back to the Netherlands and film somewhere alternate, that would get them all into it again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, that would be good. I mean, think of all the places they haven't filmed. You've got like Australia. How can you never never been to
Canada,
Australia? That's crazy.
New Zealand.
Canada. I mean, there's some really good locations in them places. So they surely got to hit them kind of places in them films. I know Tim says, just a question for the panel. What do your work colleagues say about your James Bond session? Now, this is interesting. So, Nick,
Good
starting
question.
with you.
Yeah. So I sometimes sit in this position for Teams calls at work, and so I get questions about what's the poster behind, and then it leads into that. And also, yeah, and so obviously with being in office, team call, because I rarely go into the office anymore or work from home, so you can slip in a few Bond quotes. Some people get it is, isn't it? Especially sometimes, especially if no one even bats an eyelid about it. It's great. Yeah, actually quite good. And then
stiffness coming on or something.
I do that a lot.
Yeah, I know it's brilliant. But yeah, no, it's no surprise to them. I kind of plug what we do as well. Mostly, nearly every week we have a team call which I set up, which is a call for half an hour. I'll just call it the virtual cuppa and cake chat, where we just discuss anything but work. And we just discuss anything that's come up, what you're watching on TV, and then say, "Oh, Nick, is there any news on the new Bond?" No, and then it just goes from there. Then. So yeah, how about you, Chris?
I suppose. Well, I've only been in the place. Well, actually, I've been there quite. How long have I been there now? 18 months, so a fair while. So they know that I used to do a podcast, and they know that I'm off to Germany, taking a load of going out with a load of people to Bond locations. So, yeah, I mean, I think the thing that Daniel Craig's Bond did was give a bit of respect to Bond in terms of the general public, because I think there are certain times where the general person in the street wasn't very respectful towards Bond or what it might have become and stuff like that. And one thing that is hard to deny is that the Craig Bonds really brought that back. Like particularly, I think Casino and Skyfall, in particular, with everything going on in 2012, it's kind of brought it back into the eyes of the general public as being actually that's pretty cool. The only thing that's now gone against that is just the fact that there's been hardly any.
There's nothing.
It's just been so long and delayed. If they had continued to make, Casino, Skyfall level films, some people like Spectre as well. No Time to Die is decent, but on a 2-3 year period, it would just be such a bigger thing outside of the Bond fan community, and it's purely down to the fact that we've waited 5 years here, 6 years there. It's going to be 7-8 years for the next one, and it's just really hard to gain a new audience when it's such a long time in between the films, because you might see one. Imagine if you're I don't know what, I suppose Daniel Craig's been a bit older, but say you're 11 or 12, you watch a new Bond and you think, wow, this is wicked, this is so good, and then the next one doesn't come out for 6 or 7 years. By that time you've almost forgotten what's happened to the other one. If it doesn't grab you, then it's a real tough situation. So I think in a way, I know there's lots of stuff potentially going on in the background and everything, but I think in a way it's not helped by just the lack of films that we've had over the last 15 years or whatever. It's been a shame, really. But
yeah, it's one of those. Jerome, what do your work colleagues say about your obsession with Bond?
Well, it really depends, because I'm in all kinds. I have all kinds of different colleagues all the time, because I work as a substitute teacher on 34 schools. So every day I'm somewhere else. But it's a lot of people are aware of it, and they kind of like it. I remember last time I told a lot of my colleagues that I was going to your event, and that they would ask questions, but it's so hard to grasp for some people, how nerdy it gets. But I don't really tell the children too often that I do YouTube and stuff. Not for the simple fact that if I happened to have said something inappropriate and parents would find it, I find it too professional. But occasionally, kids find out by themselves. They start Googling you and they run into your channel. So it does happen, and I've received. That was what I was looking for. But I couldn't find it so fast. But I received a lot of presents for saying goodbye from classrooms that
that's
had
nice.
like me in a tuxedo, or they found pictures of me on Google with
that's cool.
Cool. And I do the thing that Nick just said, that you put in some quotes that nobody knows about.
It's great.
My go-to one is when the children would come up to me and they say, "Hey, my father's name is Jeroen as well." I would always go, "Oh, small world." Yeah, always the same. It's just always my go-to quote, that one, because children will give you random quotes like that. Yeah. Like, "I have a brother," it's.
That is actually true. That is. I mean, where I've been at the same school now for about 5 or 6 years, and I pretty much know what I'm about, pretty inside and out. And it's an open secret. I even been some of the event programs into the staff room just so they can have a look at them as well, see what we do. But I mean, it's hard because if you're a Bond fan like us, you are a hardcore Bond fan. The smallest things you could talk about for hours. But when I was, I said like I'm doing a Bond event. Oh, is Daniel Craig going to be there? Oh yeah, sure, he's going to.
Oh no,
we got him as well.
Yeah. That's one of the first things they say. Oh, can you get Daniel Craig?
It's just like I don't think they really understand what actually goes on in that world. But I mean, I host a quiz every Christmas for all the staff, and there's a film and TV round, and there's always a Bond poster. Guess what film is this? And they go, "Oh no, here we go again." So they have to actually look at their Bond knowledge. So I'm actually educating people all the time with it. So but yeah, it's always good fun. It's I don't obviously go crazy obsessive, but I just the odd, funny enough, they was all watching the Roger Moore auction in the staff room the other day, so that's something. Because they were quite interested in it. But it's one of those, isn't it? Unless you're an actual, you could just a generic film fan. I must admit though, when No Time to Die come out, loads of people, more of my colleagues, were talking about the film. What do you think? And actually, the buzz around it. What I would say is those that are casual Bond fans just see the film every 4 years, whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a big talking point. Everyone was talking about it, and that was quite special. I think when you're not even like a hardcore Bond fan, but you watch the film, you want to talk about it. I think that's a it's a really nice thing, and I just like putting all the references in there, talking about all the different references and the films and that kind of thing. But
those are the moments when fans random people come up to you and actually ask you, "What did you think of the film?" Because they know you're a fan of the films, right? Order 66 on kids. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
It's kind of extreme, but still.
Comes out with some great comments tonight. But no, it's good. But no, thanks, gents. I mean, what's it? Nearly coming up to 3 hours. Wow, that's flown by.
Wow. Thank you, guys.
Even nice. Yeah, thanks for everybody for supporting Shaken Not Stirred, and obviously Chris and Jeroen and everybody in the community. We all had a fantastic James Bond day yesterday, hopefully. I know I watched David's live stream. I enjoyed that, and it was quite a late one, so I only caught a glimpse. There's going to be a big event next weekend with QD Music and obviously David's event and Latchford as well, the Daily Moonmaker, and us doing the walking tour. And then Operation Trinity will be amazing. I can't wait for it. But it's not just, it's everybody. It is pretty much a team effort. It really is. Everyone's worked really hard. David said he was just about to pop on. There we go. But yeah, I think, maybe we'll catch you another time, David, because I think it's been quite a while. And I think we've been on it for a long while. I think our beards have grown. Come here, clean shaven.
Great. I think I've gone great.
Yeah.
I was clean shaven when I started.
Exactly. And to be fair, they've just released a new Bond film, so we missed that as well. Oh, typical.
Chris, I was going to say, if you got a little bit of stiffness coming on, they're back as well.
That's it.
Yeah. Exactly. Just surviving.
Yeah, that's the one. I use that one a lot.
Yeah, especially when I teach a certain class. Having a class there or just surviving.
Yeah.
I just need someone that's called Mr. Chan to join the school.
I know.
That would be amazing. How good would that be?
Oh, dear.
I'd just be laughing too much. I don't think I could hold a straight face. Someone actually called Mr. Chan, and I did that. I'd just be laughing my head off. They'd be like, "What is this crazy guy doing?" You know? Oh, God. Yeah, imagine it. Maybe we'd have to put a preference in. Just hire anyone that's called Mr. Chang.
Yeah, just to be able to say that.
That'd be pretty cool.
You need an assistant, don't you, Matt, in your job? I'm sure you can find.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you can do it every day.
Yeah, no. Oh, God, just imagine that. Well, yeah. To a point, it'll kind of get boring after a while, but the first time will just be gold. But yeah, be pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thanks for everybody that's joined this live stream and everybody else. And we didn't plan
thanks
to
for
go
the
on for this
support.
time. It was really good to chat with you
Mm-hmm.
guys. And appreciate the support. Operation Trinity, 007 tickets left, I think there is. So
there might not be any left by the time we've been doing this.
Well, I don't know. I haven't even checked. So, but yeah, no, thanks for everybody. Thanks to everybody. And Chris, Giroux, giving up your time very gratefully on a Friday evening. And David for popping on, and for Daily Moonmaker for popping on. And Rob as well. It's always good to hear from you, Rob. Much appreciated. But yeah.
Thanks for the support, and look forward to see you in our event in 3 weeks.
Yeah, we can't wait, fellas. Cheers for allowing us to come on and have a chat about it. I'm
You're
really
welcome.
excited about it. It's gonna be great.
And good luck, guys. Don't forget to enjoy yourselves as well, because I remember Matt last year. I remember up until the casino night, you could see you were finally settling down in your head, because there's so much going on. I can imagine, like, you have to arrange everything every minute. You were always busy, in a good way, of course, but don't forget to take it all in as well. Enjoy the moment. Now that this is your second time at the same venue, you kind of know what's up a little bit more.
You'll be like the Bonds when they get into their second film. They're generally that slightly bit more relaxed. They're like, first out of the way, now I'm into character. So you'll feel a bit like that, maybe.
Yeah, because you deserve to enjoy it yourselves as well. Of course, it's not just the guests and everyone that's coming.
And if you can get a Mr. Chang to come to the party as well, then that'd be amazing.
Who knows? I have to check the guest list. I might have to just offer a free ticket to someone who's called Chang. That'd be pretty good. But it'd be good. But no, thanks for everybody's support on that. And it's been great tonight. It's been a good laugh as well. Good catch up with you all, because obviously we don't chat often. And I'll see you next week, Jeroen and Nick.
Yeah,
and
can't wait.
I'm sure I'll see you in 3 weeks, Chris. So it'd be great.
Look forward to seeing you then, guys. Have a good one.
Right. Take it easy, guys. See you later.
Cheers.
Thank you, guys.
See you later, guys.
Bye now. Bye.
Bye.